Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Road Atlanta, one of the most iconic and intimidating circuits in sim racing. Tonight, we kick things off with GR86s, a category where momentum is everything. The racing is always tight, and one small mistake can cost you 5 positions before you reach the next corner. This place rewards bravery through the S's, precision under braking, and patience in the battles. Expect close racing, plenty of side-by-side action, and drivers throwing everything at it from the green flag. My name is Jordan Pianazzola. Thank you for joining us, so sit back tight and enjoy an absolute cracker at Road Atlanta. You'll also have Adam Lavis in the commentary booth with me tonight. So Adam, do you want to give yourself a little introduction and hello to everyone?
Good evening, everybody. Yes, and thank you, Jordan, for stepping in tonight. Dan's running a bit late. Zach's got the night off, so good to have a new voice on the booth. So hope you have a good night, and hope you give us something a bit different for everybody.
Yes, thank you. We'll have to see how this definitely pans out. It's a 40-minute race coming up, and I believe in sim at the moment it is 5 PM local time, so getting quite late in the day. We'll have to see what the sun will do for these conditions as we move throughout this race. But have a look at some of the championship standings as they are live on your screen right now. Braden Sagassa, he is the man on top, the one that everyone is chasing. But Ben Snell, been on his tail for 6 rounds all season. He's been right there waiting for the win. He's still waiting for it. Will we see it here tonight? Lachlan Purvis also in the 1-9, the teammate to Sagassa. Can he play any teammate games in this? Ahead of Barker and King. They're really close, actually, just in behind Purvis. And so was Hansen also right there. The grid order here. Sagassa on pole, followed by Ben Snell with a 1-4-1. A 10th and a half back nearly. Lockie Purvis, second row, leading Jeff Adams. Guy Leach and Jacob Miller, he takes up the 6th position there on the 3rd row. Brett Barker, Adam Funslow, Brett Selby-Wood and Chris Henn in the 60, nearly a second back, rounding out the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. They are off and away we go. There was one driver slow away. I think that was on the 3rd row.
Hey, is it the guy Leach or Brett Barker, I believe?
That was Barker having a bit of a bog down on the start. We get through the fast turn 1. We climb up the hill. Sagassa in the lead here from Ben Snell. The rest of the field sorting themselves out. Bit of a tap further back in the field. We come down into the S's. This is where the nerves really start to pick up on the first lap. You get out of the S's, you want to make sure you make it safe through there. Down towards this far end of the circuit. And Snell, just on the tail here, is not looking like he wants to make a move immediately at the start and just get in a line and form a train, as that is exactly what everyone is doing. They are on their carriage and away down the back straight we are going. So Sagassa, first and first. It is all he does. And again, this is where he will sit. I'm going to guess he's going to end lap 1 in first position, which is no surprise for Sagassa. If you look from the high angle over the final corner here, I have a look at who has moved up and not over the first lap. A little bit of a squeeze further back. There's Chris Henn trying to make the move on Selby Wood. But Brett was putting on a defense immediately. He's not shy. As they go over the curb of 3. The whole field. What a beautiful, beautiful sight this is. Just looking at these Toyotas, nose to tail, all down the hill of the S's and then back up towards the end of it. This is definitely one of my least favourite corners, driving this track when I do get the chance. But this would be some fun tonight. We're going to see Jeff Adams maybe make up a couple of positions. He's just having to defend off Guy Leach there for the tail ends of the top 5.
And yeah, looking at the positions gain and loss, pretty much confirmed was Guy Leach who got that bad start there, given that Barker's managed to find 3 spots during the opening phase.
Barker had a wonderful first lap there, up into 4th place, so started 7th and is pipped off Miller, Leach and Adams. We'll see if he can get on the tail of the top 3. They are the top 3 in the championships. Actually, Barker's 4th in the championship as I also look over and see it, so excuse me for potentially degrading his pace there, as he's definitely one to also keep an eye on for this race. Still in the early stages, what, 3 minutes 30, and it's a 40-minute race, so there's a lot of time that you need to work with here. You just need to stay patient as well, even if you are a little bit further down in the field like Baldwin here. Hambley going through turn 3, just defending from Booth at the moment. He's in 13th in the Northwind Motorsports 86.
Yeah, we've got two new drivers. Yeah, got two new drivers that got tonight. Philip Hambley, one of them, and also just a little bit further back, Harrison Rayner, just joined, I believe, today. So welcome to the club, boys. I hope you enjoy yourselves.
Well, that's some great news. Having more members on board is always some fabulous stuff, as we see Brookfield go and make a bit of a fabulous move. So I'll use that word twice in one moment. But Harrison Rayner only finding out about us today and already in the deep end of it. So we'll see how this ends out for the 22 then. He's in 18th at the moment, just a little bit behind this battle at the moment. Gander making the move deep on the brakes like a Tander, but instead it's a Gander this time. So he makes the move up into the tail end of the top 15. He's a second behind the cars in front, but just on the tail end of the slipstream. He could maybe make up a couple of moves if he can just keep the head down. See a move further behind through turn 1 potentially for Rayner. Already, like I said, getting into the deep end of it. He's only 5 minutes into his career here at GSRC. He's not wanting to shy away from a battle, and this is with Gary Cousins ahead of him. I did also notice, as we went over the line for lap 4 here, the fastest lap of the race is Lachlan Purvis up in 3rd place, 1:33.375. as the early time, but slipstreaming these things, like I said in the intro, it's all momentum in these cars. And I come from a background of commentary where there is a lot of go-karting. That's my background. And we see in the 4-strokes, in those categories, it's all about momentum, and that is exactly what the 86 is.
Sorry, my bad. It looks like the bite point set way too high. He's an all clutch then.
Yeah, unfortunate. Just a big slip up there for Guy Leach, dropping a position, and all of the effort in qualifying just down and dusted.
Yeah, Chris Hen's got a slowdown, the yellow flag on the timing tower there, so I'm assuming he's just probably cut that first apex of the last chicane just a little bit too much. And iRacing said, naughty boy, slow down.
Yeah, it can be an easy one to get if you're not quite familiar with this car, and not quite sure where Hens is in the standing. Well, he's 11th, so he's definitely got some familiarity with the car, maybe not so much with the track. It is a bit of a roller coaster around here. So we'll see now, and still with this battle going on for 15th. Rayner really battling with these guys around him. Gander, Brookfield really having a big tussle in the tail end of the field here. We're still only 7 minutes into this race, and they're fighting like they're in the last 7 minutes. This is exactly what we want to see. Down the far end of the straight as we go down the hill into the break zone. Whoa, 4-5 wide nearly. Oh my days, wow. Oh, what a defense there by Rayner, holding on. Who's that in the pink? They've had a mistake and a bit of a cut through. I'm sure they'll have a slowdown from that.
Rollo, I believe.
That's Rollo, okay, in the 335 there. Wow, 5 wide nearly down the back straight. This is the stuff you get in 86s, which is what makes it amazing. This is just beauty at a beautiful track.
And not only five wide, and they succeeded to get through cleanly and not take each other out. So good on the boys.
Yeah, they're definitely showing their experience in the sim racing world. Edward Roller, after that early mistake, he's just on the tail of the field there now, so he's not dropped out of it completely, still within a chance at least for, I'm going to say 15th. He's down 23rd at the moment, so it just goes to show how big of a line that is battling there for 15th position. And Rayner, he's up a total of 5 positions at the moment, so really fighting hard just to stay where he is.
And the other good news tonight is we have Ben Woods has finally got the fuel counts correct, so we actually have the right percentage tonight. So the one compulsory fuel stop will actually be required by these guys because they won't have enough fuel to get to the end. So some fuel strategy will come in here. And also, we've seen here last time I come in recent times, iRacing have moved the yellow cones for the pit entry speed limiter back up the hill a bit, and that caught a lot of people out last time we were here. So we'll have to wait and see if people have practiced their entrances and make sure they get the speed limiter on at the right time. Otherwise, they might see themselves with an extra lengthy stop at the pit lane.
Yeah, well, the change of fuel will definitely make a change in strategy, like you said there, Adam. Because when I've raced in this series here with you guys, it's the fuel hasn't been quite calculated, and you can just run to the end with the one compulsory and just quick stop in the box and get going again. So it'd be good to actually see them have to think about the fuel. Sagasa will have to see what his fuel will be like compared to Snell and Purvis as well, because Snell and Purvis sitting in the tow this whole time. Sagasa's having to break the air, so is he going to be a little bit down on fuel compared to them, or is he just going to also be alright on fuel because he's getting the air bump down the straights? I have to see how that plays out. Do you know, Adam, how long the stints are potentially looking at for these drivers here tonight?
So it should be around the 30 to 35 minutes is probably the maximum window for the fuel. But yeah, it's still that's what we usually aim for with the 40-minute races. So it should be around that as the maximum. But yeah, so what's actually happened is I got like a notepad with with a whole bunch of cars' fuel efficiencies, and the 86 used to do basically 900 mil per minute was its fuel burn rate, and apparently recently an update it's now gone down to 700 mil, which is what's caught us all out. So we had to do some recalculating to bring those percentages down to meet the new fuel burn of the car. So they've obviously chucked a better ECU in there or something and made it a bit more fuel efficient.
Okay, I did not naturally know that. I was not aware of that. So
it'd be something
that up. You brought that up to my attention as well.
If you're not a series runner, it'd be something you wouldn't even realise.
Yeah, nope, never. Well, do I touch these in officials? Yeah, no, I don't. I have, but I don't. They're definitely a fun car, but it's a bit rough around the edges sometimes. So we'll have a look now. See on the timing tower actually, Pritchard is out. So wonder what's happened with him. It says he is 1 lap down. So I wonder if he's had a disconnect of some type. It would be unfortunate there for the 935 if that was the case. Maybe we can get a replay of it up here now.
He's just parked up.
He's just parked up. Okay, that's an unfortunate turn of events for.
Maybe he got
Tom.
The penalty we were just talking about.
Maybe so. It could have been. Have to maybe see if you can find it a little bit earlier on a replay there or not. If they come over the top of the circuit or the top of the hill there at the start of the circuit, down through the S's, out of it. You can see Snell's just absolutely kissing the bumper of Sagasa in front. There's not really much of a gap between, at least trying to compare to the gap I can see between Purvis and Snell.
It looked like Lockie, the little kick to the left before turn 3, looked like he got a little bit rear locking on the brakes there, and it got him a bit loose, and he lost a bit of time over the hill. So now he's got to work his way back into that slipstream bubble.
Yeah, just having the little moment, just having a little bit of a bog down. Doesn't want to fall back to Barker and Adams. They're still sitting tight in behind. They're trying to get closer, and Adams is trying to just push Barker closer, but it's not working at the moment. Leach behind the teammate of Barker. We'll have to see how that'll play out a little bit later on. Maybe have to see if Adams and Snell can team up in some way, because they are looking like the two single men out of pack here that are trying to fight a set of teammates. But the top 6, really quick pace by all of them, all on that last lap, mid 133s. Everyone else in the pack behind, from 34 1s at the closest all the way down to 34 7s. So this top 6, they are at sometimes 6/10 and sometimes even a second quicker than the rest of the field behind. So Sagassa, Snell, Purvis, Barker, Adams and Leach. Absolute insane pace by them to show us what can be done in the first 15 minutes. Rayner in the Rayner Motorsports liveried 86, now under pressure from Brookfield. He looks to the outside. Will he secure the move around the outside? That's a tough corner to get it done. A little bit fast flowing on the entry. Need to make sure he's not going to squeeze out Brookfield on the outside. Gives plenty of room there, does Harrison. This will give a good run down the back straight. If he can get in the toe, he did actually bog out of it because he sat so tight. It gives Brookfield the chance up to move up a position, but they're still somewhat loosely battling. Baldwin's into 15th. He's broken the field behind. Cousins is just here behind, seeing if he can get into the battle through 10A and 10B. And down the hill into the final corner. Lachlan Purvis still sitting on the top times of the race, 33.378 for the last race. His best is a 33.375. So just sitting there in third. We were speaking about the fuel efficiency and how that's going to have to play for everyone. Purvis, I think, will be sitting in shout for a good position here, especially with the amount of fuel saving he'll be doing in the double toe of the two fast guys ahead. They're still, actually, Barker has closed up a little bit. I was going to say he's still sitting a little bit further back, but that's Adams just maybe not quite getting a cleaner lap as he would have wanted this time. But Barker has gotten a little bit closer. But the top 6, they're just sitting in a train. They've got no worry in the world. They're just happy to do what they're doing. Just vibe out, chill. You know, they feel like they could dawdle and probably, you know, pull up a phone and look and you know, doom scroll on Instagram at how calm it looks like they're driving. But I can tell you, it's definitely not calm. They are calm, but it's a different type of calm. They're just gently following the car in front, but still to keep it on the racing line, smacking these curbs with all of the body weight and rotation you can get in and out of these cars. It's they're definitely driving it on a knife edge, but they look so calm being on that knife's edge. And yeah, Adam, look, I can keep up with Sagassa in a Formula V, but in a thing like this, even when it is about still momentum just as much as a Formula V, I don't know how these guys do it. Everyone in the top 6, they're absolutely putting on a show of pace tonight.
Indeed they are. But it wouldn't surprise me if there's two options here. It's either Sagassa's is just slightly faster and these guys are just holding on with the toe, or the guys behind are just sort of keeping realizing that they're all fast and everyone behind, and it's a long race. They're basically just getting themselves that first pit stop, get the pit stop window out of the road, and at some point, someone's going to drop the hammer, and it's going to be on if someone starts making moves. So once someone pulls that first move, I think this race might start to spicy up.
Well, don't forget, Sagasa did also qualify nearly a tenth and a half quicker than the rest of the field. So is Sagasa the quicker one? I want to say so. I mean, Snell is, like I said earlier in the show, he's absolutely kissing the bumper. I reckon Snell could make a move and potentially fight on for the pace, but the other guys from third down, I think they're probably sitting and staying on the draft at the moment.
Yeah, Snelly's definitely been close enough that he could have made a move if he wanted to, but he's definitely holding back at the moment and just playing his cards so close to his chest. But the thing is, if he does start battling, these other four are going to be right in it because it's going to bring them easily into the fight and it's going to open it up.
Yes, and I know Sagasa's definitely not going to want that, but I mean, look, I'd definitely be keen to see it. Elbows being put out in 86s is amazing. But yeah, Sagasa definitely he wouldn't want the battle to come ever, let alone this early. If I was in any one of these guys' positions, I wouldn't want battling at the moment. It's just keep driving, keep driving, keep driving. Just open up the gap to Funzalo, Silverwood. It's 7 seconds at the moment. I'd be seeing if we can, as a group, get it to 15 seconds or 20 seconds even, and then in the last 7 minutes, just go absolute hammer for hell and just see what can happen.
Yeah, it's a smart play by Snell, because even if he thinks he might be able to get past Sagasa, the fact that he knows Sagasa's definitely got the pace, given he got that quality lap time. So it is smart, if you're in a train, to have the fastest guy at the front to drag the train along as mostly as efficient as possible. So these guys are playing a smart race here to keep themselves in with a shot of the win at the end of the race.
Yep, every single one of them does have a chance to do so. The best chance is always going to lie in the hands of Sagasa. He's had, let me count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins this season. The others were a 5th place, a DNF, and I believe round 1 was a non-count.
If it's blue, yes, that's blue means he wasn't classified, so therefore he didn't do 75% of the race distance.
Yes, yeah, so yeah, a non-counting result. So, yeah, I know what I was thinking in my head. Sorry, I didn't get the word out, but nonetheless, Sagasa is the target. He's the one with the man on the back. Snell, he's had 3, 4, 5 second places. So he's just been sitting behind. Purvis, his best result is only 3rd place. He's had that twice. Barker, his best result is a 3rd place. He had that once, and that was at Long Beach in the sprint race, in the first sprint race actually of that night. He followed that up with a 4th place, and that was his best weekend, or his best night, sorry, overall this season. And King, he's had a 3rd place as well. Just having a look, that was at Virginia in round 2. And so actually King's not in the top there. That's Adams and Leach on there as well before.
King doesn't seem to be on the track tonight, just Jeff.
Yeah, so Jeff Adams, he had a 2nd place at Virginia, so he can definitely get up there with a good result, but one podium finishing quite early in the season, it's not really that great. The last couple of races haven't gone too pleasant for Adams. He had an 8th and a 17th at Brands Hatch, and a 16th beforehand at St. Pete, and that's a really tough street track. So I can understand maybe why a bad result can come around there. If you don't get along the street tracks, they just never ever be favourable to you. So I can understand that one with Adams. And Guy Leach, where can I find him in the standings? He's 15th. So honestly, for where he is on track at the moment, for where he is in standings, I'm going to say he's putting in an absolute good effort tonight. His best is a 7th place at Virginia in round, which was round 2 in the first race of the night. So yeah, Leach is definitely, I think, further up compared to where he would expect to be. But he's still on for a good result here, depending how he plays his cards and how the others all, you know, play around with strategy and what happens with pit stops. Leach could still be on for a little bit of a better result from 6th.
Yeah, the Gen3 line boys had a bit of an up and down season. Early on, they definitely had pace to be in top groups, but they either got caught up or made mistakes and fell back a bit during the races. In the last sort of 2 or 3 rounds, they've actually been struggling to get back in the top 10. They actually were a bit short of pace. Tonight's a bit of a return to form for them, so they're back in that top group, back where they sort of probably you would expect to see them. But yeah, they've had a bit of a up and down season so far.
Yeah, well, Barker, I mean, started it off probably not too great. 12th and 11th in the first, or 12, 9 and 11, sorry, in the first 2 rounds. Round 3 was his most dominant one, a 3rd and a 4th, scoring 95 points there, 3rd for the night. But then a 9th, 12th, a 10th and an 11th afterwards. So like you said, not really where he would want to be. But 4th place, I mean, he's 4th in the championship, so he's still been collecting points and still been doing something. As Gasser, that was dives into the pits early.
Interesting, Purvis didn't go with him.
No. Wow, okay, so that just completely caught me off guard. I mean, actually just a little over halfway. And I remember we did do, which race was it? I want to say Coda. I think everyone pitted quite early in that one as well. So we'll see here as Sagasa, he hits his marks. We'll have to see what'll happen next time around.
7.6.
Are the others going to pit? So 7.6 second stop, 41 and a half in the lane.
Which, and 7.6 is of the people who have pitted. That's probably one of the higher ones. Let me just bring that up. So everyone, Wakefield's an 8.6, but
Bunslow had a 6.6.
I think Rayner's got a penalty, is he?
And Cousins had a 6.7 on a stop. Actually, Brookfield had a 5.6 second stop.
I think Rayner's forgot to uncheck his tyres.
That's unfortunate for Rayner then.
Or he's filled to the brim, one of the two.
A 19-second stop for Rayner. I'm going to more or less say that was fuel than tyres. I think tyres will take a little bit longer. But I've not done any racing where I need to change tyres in these cars. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're just regular radials, so you need to go like at least an hour or two before they start to get a bit squishy.
So none of the top guys have pitted. They're all still staying out. As Snell is opening the gap. What's this? 8 tenths to Purvis behind. He doesn't want to lose the drivers. The driver ahead. Doesn't want to be taken by the drivers behind. Sagasa, where did he come out? He's in 10th place.
He's got clear track, so he can run his own pace. But it's a question of whether his pace is stronger than the train pace. But also, with Snelly pulling away.
I was going to say, we have to see then where he is, and he is in that clean air, like you said, coming out of the S's just about now. So he's still at least within a good chance of maybe getting back a result. But the thing that's maybe not putting it in a good chance for him is that with this pack still working together, they're still going to be opening up that gap then to him. So as long as they can keep working together for however so many more laps, that gap will be opening to Sagasa. Although Sagasa is the quick man, he qualified on pole, he's been leading this race from lights out. Although he's the quick man, with the pack working together, they're always going to open up that gap more. So, will they be able to open up enough that they're not going to have to worry about Sagasa ever again in this race? Or are they going to end up tangling and it's going to bring Sagasa back? But with them just continuing on and on and on, I think that's not going to work in any favour for Sagasa in the 1-3-0.
Snelly's just bolted a bit deep here. Hasn't lost too much time though, but that could have been worse.
Not as far as I'm aware with Road Atlanta track limits, it's not a slowdown for that. But you can see he had an 8/10 gap earlier. It's come down 3/10 behind, and Purvis is closed up.
So
just dropping Barker a little bit.
So on the previous lap, both Sagasa and Snell set their personal bests. Snell did a 33.36, Sagasa 33.38. So 2 100s between them in that last lap.
So the race is on. So Sagasa, he can still do that pace. He doesn't need 5 guys behind him pushing him down the straight to be able to do a 1:33.3. He can do it by himself, still in clean air. He's 7 seconds behind the cars in front. So we see what Purvis and Leach hit the lane there.
Again, the teammates split up. You'd think they would stay together to keep the tow.
Yeah, maybe they think they're going to be stopping in the same box tonight, like they do in F1. But no, it doesn't quite happen here like that. They've got their own box. They can go freely as they want. But no, they're just doing different to their teammates, and especially Purvis. Many laps different. It's no, we have to see him reverse in the pit lane, Leach. Oh, what a mistake. He's just given a natural penalty to himself as Sagasa's actually come out, and he's going to come out ahead of Purvis as he comes around the outside to the top of the hill. Purvis will sneak in behind his teammate, try immediately get in the tow. Sagasa, okay, so he's still within a chance. I thought maybe the pack still working for an extra couple of laps might have opened up the gap, but no, it didn't. Sagasa decided, all right, I'm just putting my foot down in clean air and I'm gonna go, boys. But Snell always over a second ahead as well now. So Barker and Adams, they're not fighting behind, but the gap has opened up to Snell ahead. But I'll put my attention to Funslow on screen. Can he get past Rayner? Oh no, sorry, that's Hen. I've seen a red car. I thought that was Rayner for a moment, but Hen is dropped back one position from the start.
I like guys here. Got a new livery. They've dropped the purple and just gone for their individual colours. So we got red, green, and yellow on track. They got red and green holding it tight here. But we need to go to the front here because the whole front row are in the pits.
Yep, Snell, Barker, Adams, Booth, and Southall, all of them into the pits. That leaves Sagasa now on track and coming down the main straight, just behind the flash graphics in the top right. Snell coming out of the pits. Sagasa, that's not Snell there. Snell's ahead, or Barker's also ahead as well. So Barker has really jumped some of those guys. Is he going to be able to just get on Snell and push him away? Sagasa third. He's dropped some place and some time. So when the pack did push after Sagasa pitted, it did work a little bit, but only by what, a second and a half-ish that Snell is to Sagasa?
Which is equivalent to the pit stop difference in stop times. Well,
Sagasa 7.5. Snell 6.4 in the stop, so there is a second difference also there. You're right. You did notice something there, Adam, so thank you for that one. But a change in order in the top. Snell leads the way now in the final 7 minutes. So 33 minutes just done on the clock. I'll see if Adam can maybe run some numbers for me and figure out how many more laps we're going to get. But we're on lap 21 at the moment. Minute 30 for the laps. So there's definitely a couple in here for them to close back up and potentially get back towards Snell. Sagasa is already trying to push towards Barker, and I reckon as soon as he gets onto Barker, he's going to try and get past him and just push for Snell. Over the top of the hill. Coming down through the S's. Sagasa is a 10th behind. Doesn't matter talking about the time difference between them. You can clearly see how close they are to one another. Is Braden moving here? He is moving to the inside. Is he going to get the move done? Barker's going to back out early. That's smart there by Barker. Just get straight into the toe of the fast guy. See if he can drag you forward to the race leader.
Yeah, it's
see if he can drag you into a podium with Purvis pushing himself off the circuit behind. He's really trying to stay with his teammate, but that's not going to help him at all.
Yeah, definitely a smart play there by Barker. He can use Sagasa's pace to try and bring him up back into a possible winning position, whereas if he battled, he'd be battling for second.
Yeah, well, Barker, it makes the right move hopping in behind Sagasa. I mean, at the same time, you also kind of want to fight. You're still in the podium chance, but now he's going to be under pressure from Purvis. He's not been able to get going with Braden in second place. And it looks like going to be under pressure from the other 1-6. Is it 1-6?
1-9.
No, 1-9. Sorry, I don't even know Roman numerals.
You're the 1-6.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm getting confused with my own team name. 1-9. Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I think we've got 4 laps to go as of now. I think we're going to have plenty of overtime because they crossed the line with just over 5 minutes to go. And yeah, I think 3 laps would have been just under 5 minutes. They've got about 10 seconds up their sleeve to cross, and then get basically a full lap of overtime.
So pressure is on. The nerves will be right up there, as high as you can really think, as we go around a roller coaster for 4 more minutes. Snell looking back to the guys behind, all chasing him down. Sagasa, he's got the fastest lap of the race. It's a 33.069 now, a 33 flat. Can he get a 33.2? I reckon with this lap, he might be on for it with how much he's closing. You see there in the brake zone, closes up an absolute ton.
I think Snelly's on for a 32 here. Oh, sorry, Sagasa.
Sagasa, 4/10 quicker in the middle sector. What's it over the line? 33.022. And that was clearly with an off-track. Didn't actually go through as an official lap. But as we enter the final stages, Sagasa, he led the first half of the race from lights out. The pit stop changed it. He decided to go early, went for the undercut. The rest stayed out behind Benny Snell. And they tried to open up that gap to the 130. Snell, deep down, I'm slightly pushing for him to get a win, because he's not had one yet this season. But only a handful of laps. Sagasa's going to be right on him. This is going to be a close one. My fingers are nearly in my mouth, chewing my nails off already, and I'm not even meant to have any need to want to do that when commentating, but this is already nerve-wracking for me watching as we approach the final stages. I think 2 laps to go as we go around over the line next time around.
It'll be 2 laps to go at the line.
Snell, you can see he's pushing sector 2 with a purple lap time, with a purple split time, sorry. Go over the line for the second to last time. Sagasa, not quite going to happen there, just showing the nose. We see a comment from Mama Gassy. I'm going to guess that is Sagassa's mum. Fantastic racing by my 19 boys. Go, go, go. She's definitely putting a cheer on back home on the couch. Can Braden do it? He loves to get a win this season. He doesn't care when he gets it. It doesn't care if he pretty much win from the first lap and lead the whole way or get it on the last lap. All he wants to do is win. And as we get a little bit closer to it, I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Snell's keeping it at that gap.
Just quickly, before we go to that last lap, a couple of battles to look forward to. You got these three back here in the 14, 15, 16 having a tight battle, and then also another group of three just a bit further back. So a couple of little groups of three. We'll have to keep an eye on where they end up at the end of the race. But definitely the boys are there, putting on a show back in the pack as well.
So Brookfield, Cousins and Baldwin, they've been battling over 15th for pretty much 39 minutes at this point.
Defence has started.
Gander, Southall and Hanson as we move to the front. This Gassa is a little loose in the second part of the chicane there as we come down the hill. Is this going to be the final lap? I think it will be. I think that's a white flag waving in front of the camera. Sagassa, one more lap, looks to the inside, not going to happen there, just putting the pressure on as Purvis closes up. Is he going to be able to steal something at the death of this? Snell, he is really going to have to fight for this one. He knows what's on the line. He's 4 points behind in the championship. Purvis is nearly 20 behind. He'll be happy to steal a win and gain the extra points, but it's all between Sagassa and Snell for the championship. 4 points behind him. Sagassa does nothing but winning. Snell does nothing but finish in second place. Is this going to be a change in formality tonight? He's done half a lap here of the final lap as Snell. Can he hold on one more long straight, a long deep brake zone at the chicane? Sagassa's, he's going to have the run. He's going to have the run here. Snell, what is he going to have to do for the defence? Sagassa will look right. They're trying to hold each other tight. Is Sagassa going to come across more? No, Snell's nearly behind, but he's going to go so deep on the brakes. Is he going to outdo himself? No, he's held it. Snell! Oh, a little bit of a touch from Sagassa! Down the hill! The checkered flag, Snell! Oh, yes, he will get it, and the 1-9 boys will go side by side over the line at the end. Sagassa! Oh, nearly, but Ben Snell! Oh, wow, you finally held on. And then the battle further back. Oh, the teammates nearly getting into each other. I think they did get into each other there. Funslow and Hen. Funslow will end up on top. He'll gain 8th position there. Oh, the excitement for that was through the roof. Oh, he's out of fuel. We were actually talking about fuel calculations all through this race and how it could slightly help you or not, and it's clearly not helped him at all. Southall, you mentioned as we started the last lap, this battle at the end. I thought Southall was able to keep hold of it. Actually, who was that pitted at the end there?
I believe one of the Northwind guys had a black flag, so I think they went over their instant point limit.
Oh, that is unfortunate. I think that was maybe Gander that had that issue there. But, yep, Southall, he was able to hold on to position for that battle that you mentioned. He finished in 17th, but this battle here, this replay here, oh, Ben Snell, how deep do you want to go, my dude? That was so deep there. And then Sagassa nearly had a chance to get it back up the inside here, but Snell knew what he had to do, and that was keep that right foot pinned to the floor. Oh, wow. Adam, that was exciting to watch at the end there. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, as we predicted, they were working together a little bit and keeping the all those guys from the second to sixth there in that first half of the race, all keeping their cards close to their chest, waiting until the penny dropped, and then it all sparked off in those last 2 or 3 laps there.
Yeah, that was quite some racing that happened here tonight at Road Atlanta. Your official results on screen now. Ben Snell ahead of Braden Sagassa, 2/10 over the line. Purvis nearly beat his teammate over the line. I reckon if he'd maybe just got that run down the hill a little bit better, he maybe could have had second place, but he'd probably rather his teammate keep the extra points and potentially fight even harder for the series championship at the end when we get closer to it. Barker in fourth with Adams, Leach, Shelby Wood, Funslow, Hen and Miller, your top 10. We'll see Booth, Sharp, Hambley, Baldwin and Cousins out to 15th with Rolo, Southall, Hanson, Rayner and Brookfield, your top 20. The highest position gainer, well done to Gary Cousins, 4 positions gained for him. He goes from 19th to 15th position, so still a little bit further down in the pack, but nonetheless, he put in the effort tonight and gained 4 positions. So, I'll quickly drag some of the drivers in here, and we'll get to having a chat with them. And we will start our interviews with Lachlan Purvis. How are you, Lachlan? That looked like one hell of a race. The 6 of yous were keeping it nice and close early on. All of yous just working in formality, you know, keeping it calm, on the knife edge, fast pace, and then at the end, after all the pit stop and what we've seen, that came down to something at the end, and you had a prime viewing of that one. So what were your views of the race tonight?
Yeah, Ben and Braden and Brett, we all just kept it clean for the start. It was pretty fun. Yeah, it just came down to strategy at the end, eh? So I lost out a little bit, lost a few positions, I think 2 positions on the pit stop. I did it pretty cleanly, but I think it was just maybe the amount of fuel I had to take in. So yeah, we got past, and then past Brett and tried to keep up with these 2 boys, and yeah, that was fun in itself. That was probably the best racing towards the end there that I've had in a long time, so it was good.
Yeah, that was it was definitely a race of fuel as well. We'd seen the fuel changes recently come in with the 86, them coming a little bit more fuel efficient now, and then the compulsory pit stop tonight also in change to some other races that we've had actually had to add some fuel and think a little bit more about the fuel and the strategy early on. When you started this race, was there much strategy?
Nah, we pretty much went in guns blazing. We didn't really come up with a game plan. So I was happy to sit behind Ben, and then I think Ben was happy to sit behind Braden, and we just saved some fuel from there. But Ben just had an extra lap in it, and so did Brett. So I just gotta figure out a better strategy next time, I think.
Well, I think one thing that might play to the strategy, and I do hate to put it to you in this way then, but it might be to do with the pit stops. Both you and Sagassa in the 1.9 cars had the 2 slowest pit stops for everyone in the top 6 there. You guys were 7.5 and 7.2 seconds. The others were 6.7 and lower. So there's definitely some tense there that you guys could maybe work on. And I think with a bit of practice there, it'll definitely put both of you guys on top step in coming races going forward. But a 3rd place for you here tonight, that was some great stuff. Thank you for joining in. But who do you want to thank firstly before I move on to some of the other guys?
Yeah, obviously just the 1.9 boys, Ben for doing a fantastic race, and my missus for watching, so yeah.
Well, it's lovely to have you up here in the booth. And I'm sure we'll see you in the V8 Supercars just after this. Am I correct in saying that?
Unfortunately not. You'll see me in V's tomorrow night.
Okay. Well, I will hopefully see you in the V's tomorrow night, and I do hope to see you there because I'm hoping I'm going to be racing in that one, and that's going to be some good stuff there tomorrow. We will be at Brands Hatch, and we've recently come up with that, so I'll let you move on with the rest of your night there, Lachlan. So, but thank you for joining in and putting on a show for us tonight.
Cheers, mate.
So, the top two are next, and go to Braden Sagasso and leave the winner for last. Braden, you're always the quick man here. You got pipped to the win tonight, but qualified on pole. You led the first half. You had the different strategy. You went early. What were some of your thoughts also behind the strategy? I want to ask, but then also, what were your thoughts of the race?
Strategy-wise, I knew exactly what Ben was doing, because I could hear him raging up behind me and saving fuel. But there's only so much you can do as the leader. I was trying to lift here and there, but when you're the leader, you're just sucking so much fuel out of the car. So I knew I had to pit early, get into clear track, and try and set some blistering lap times. But like you said, we did have the two slowest pit stops. I think mine was because I had my my fuel gap too high up. But yeah, but thoughts on the race, like that last half was intense. Trying to hunt down Ben and then trying to hunt down someone and then trying to pass someone are two completely different things, and Ben did an amazing job to hold it off.
Yeah, well, one of the things I was actually worried for you in the mid-race point was when you pitted and the rest of the field didn't, like the top five, when they didn't, and they just kept working together for those 4-5 odd laps afterwards. I just thought, oh no, that's not going to work well here for Braden. They're just going to keep pushing. The pack's going to open up that gap more to you. But when you put yourself in that clean air, you didn't care if you had 5 guys behind you pushing you down the back straight. You were still going to go push for a 1:33.3, and you were still doing the same times as the guys out front that were in the pack. And that to me was some insane driving that you were putting on in the mid-race. I'm sure you're feeling it now with the sweat in the seat.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, still trying to catch my breath after that one, but yeah, the pitting early, I think it was trying to throw off Ben. I was hoping he would come in a lap after me to try and cover me off, but he played the long game, and it worked out for him. And yeah, it's just a different strategy. I thought I could try and throw some people off, but everyone up there was really smart and stayed out, and yeah, it worked out for them.
I mean, you say throwing people off, it threw me off. I can't even remember what I was saying at the time on the show, but I was mid-saying something, and then I just seen you dive right into the pits. I was like, whoa, hang on, that caught me off guard. So I bet it caught off the others off guard as much as it did me. You nearly made it work. You're definitely on the ball with your thinking, and you know what the other drivers are thinking mid-race, and yeah, that's really good to see. But I mean, obviously you're very familiar with racing these cars anyway. But the unfortunate to get pipped at the end. Did you, just as we got on that last lap there and we approached the final chicane, did you think Ben was going to go into the gravel trap or too deep, or?
Yeah, that was the plan. We did have a little chat in the green room, and he did say that he outbraked himself just a little bit, and he knew he had to cover the line on the exit, and he did an amazing job with that. I pretty much had my nose up his clacker, and I almost turned him, but I knew that's not sportsmanship like, so I gave it a little lift, tried scare him a little bit into the final little kink, but he's been in this game for years, and he knows what to do. And just want to say congrats, Ben, on your first win this season. I know you've been hunting it all season long, and what a way to win it.
Well, I'll immediately follow that up with Ben. you're here in the booth. What do you want to say to Braden there?
It was, again, just thanks for the awesome racing. It's been awesome racing all season long. It's great racing with you and Lockie. Like, I know, we give each other room. There's respect there. No one's getting the elbows out too aggressively. So, again, it's just another fantastic race between you two and myself. So, stoked to keep doing this for the rest of the season.
Good stuff. Well, I love to see the camaraderie that is built up. I mean, the 86s, it's ruthless on track from time to time. Like we've all experienced it. We've been through the ringer. But the camaraderie and the respect it builds is one of the best things to see, and I love it. But yeah, Braden, that was some great stuff tonight. Yeah, you absolutely put on a show for us. Who do you want to thank?
Obviously, the 1-9 guys. Just want a big shout out to for Lockie for showing up for every race that I do, and also to Chris for putting on these amazing liveries, and also to my amazing missus for watching me drive pretend cars around in circles.
It's not pretend if you're actually sweating real. You're an athlete. Come on, we've all got that inner Daniel Ricciardo to us.
Absolutely.
Nah, cool. Thank you for popping in, Braden. It's great to have you here. Now, I'll move on to the race winner, Ben Snell. Wow. Now, that was a fight at the end. I mean, you sort of loosely mentioned it just prior, but that was a race. I mean, sitting in behind, guessing he had you figured out early what your plan was. Was your plan just to sit there the whole race until he'd pitted?
Yeah, pretty much. From lap 1, it was fuel save. It was one of those tracks where the draft is so strong that usually that Braden, Lockie, and myself can gap the field a little bit. We do have that little bit of pace on the next group of guys, but Brett and Jeff and everyone did a great job keeping up in the draft. Even once Lockie pitted and I tried to turn the wick up a little bit, it was such a strong draft track that I knew saving every little bit of fuel and trying to get that jump in the pits was definitely going to be where the race was going to end up. I was surprised that Braden stayed out as long as he did, actually. So as the fuel window opened, I was waiting for him to go in. I'm like, when's he going to pull the trigger? Because he knew I was saving behind. And then once he pit, I was like, all right, I gotta remember how to drive fast now instead of fuel saving, and put the foot down. And then I had a little whoopsie and dropped probably half a second or so, and got my only 1x for the race. I was a bit dirty about that, but these things happen. But yeah, it was a good race. It was a good battle towards the end there. Braden definitely stuck his nose in a couple of times, showed his intention. He wasn't going to wait for the last lap. So the last 2.5 laps between Lockie, Braden and myself was just, it was awesome racing, awesome fun, and again, just shows the quality of the field here and the respect between the drivers.
Yeah, well, yeah, you talk about the respect, like I'd mentioned before. It was definitely on show tonight, especially with Sagasa on, coming off with the right foot over the hill, approaching the checkered flag. He could have done, been like, oh, well, sort of on the inside. I've got the right to be there, but it was great to just see that all happen. But when it got to the end, knowing Sagasa's form, did you think you're going to be able to hold him off, or did you think no? And especially also when you went that deep into the chicane, did you think, no, I've just ruined it for myself?
No, I think I had it in hand pretty well. This is one of the tracks where I am quite strong at, so it was good. I felt I was on Braden's pace. We were pretty much punching out lap for lap once he pitted, very similar lap time. So it was good to know that I had the pace, and it was all going to be about that final chicane on the last lap. So we did a dress rehearsal, the second to last lap, where we did the side-by-side thing through the chicane. I went, all right, cool, that seems okay. Like, I wanted the inside seemed to be the stronger side with the side-by-side. And then on the last lap, he broke a little bit earlier, and I went, okay, he's going to go for, the over-under. So I just had to make sure I parked the car on the transition between the left and the right, and Thankfully for me, he just didn't keep the foot in it, because he definitely could have turned me if he wanted to. I definitely washed off a lot of speed, making sure I covered that inside line. So again, massive respect to him for not just keeping the foot in, turning me, because he could have easily done that if he wanted to. So, but yeah, it was great to finally get a win. It's been a long time coming, and but it's also great to have to fight so hard for that win. No one wants to win by a big margin, just cruising around by themselves.
Yeah, I agree. Being given a win is as great as it feels. Sometimes it's a little bit of a sort of feeling. You know, you really want to work for it. You want to fight for it. You've worked 7 rounds for it, so I think you worked a little bit harder than you expected yourself to. But you finally come out on top. And having a look at the points on my other screen as they're coming up, maybe they can come up on the screen. They can. So if you do have a look yourself, you can see you've got 105 points there. Sagasa, he got 97. So you're able to close in a little bit, but there's still some work to do in the final 3 rounds. Road America, Detroit, at Belle Isle, and Bathurst. So you're going to show up for all 3, I hope. And what do you think are going to happen at all 3?
Again, it's going to be 3 pretty fast, pretty drafty tracks. So again, it's just going to be about making sure that you're in it at the end and seeing where the chips lay on those last lap or 2, especially Road America. Because as well, you know, you have that massive run up the hill to the line, so I would not be surprised if we saw 3 wide across the line at the finish of those races, so that's going to be super exciting. And of course we got Belle Isle, which is just keeping the car off the walls and trying not to die. And then Bathurst is just awesome. Bathurst is in the officials this week, so I've already done a few races yesterday and today, so getting plenty of practice in, because that's definitely going to be. I'm hoping we're still going to be in with a chance, and it'll come down to that final round.
Yeah, well, already putting in the practice in early, 3 weeks early for the final round, so you're definitely prepared for it, which is what I like to see. And I hope you are, because I think maybe with drop rounds, and maybe once it is properly calculated, you might be our new standings leader.
That's drop rounds are now in. But the gap is opened up for the drop round, because Snelly's dropped a few extra points to Sagasa.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he had that rough round last week, so I knew, even though I was like 4 points behind, I knew that drop round was going to shoot him back in front.
Right. Okay. So I misread that then. Sorry.
So Snelly's dropped 90 off his total, and Sagasa's only dropped 54 so far. So 36. So basically, Gasa extended by 36, but then lost another 8. So it was a 28-point gap now.
Okay. Sorry. That was a little bit of a fumble on my end. Sorry about that one. But okay, so the gap has opened up, so it does mean you got a little bit more work there to do, Ben. So you need to go chase that second win, and you need to go get it quick, smart. All right.
Oh look, I'll do my best. That's all I've been doing all season. But yeah, it is nice to finally get one up on Braden, because it's been a little bit demoralising, if anything, to keep coming up short so many times.
Yeah, I bet I can't even remember the amount of times I finished second throughout my go-karting career. So I understand, mind you, you've only done it for 6 rounds and maybe not 2 years like I'd done. But look, we all finished second. It sucks, but when you do get that win, it's great. But with that win, who do you want to thank before we close out and move on to some V8 supercars?
As always, shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast, especially you, Jordan, because it seems like you got called in last minute. It looked like you were getting ready to race and then bailed out to do the commentary. So massive thank you to you for putting your racing aside and calling the shots. It's going to be great to go back and have a listen. And of course, shout out to the club for putting on the racing. And again, thank you to my missus. She doesn't watch the races, but she watches some telly on the. She does not care about my racing. I have a missus despite racing, not because of it.
Wow. Okay, that's surprising. A sim racer with a girlfriend that then doesn't care about it. Normally, they only get the girlfriend because they do care about it, but. Okay, different circumstance for you, but look, maybe you need to twist her arm, put a glass of wine in front of her and make her watch it.
Oh, she's tried driving this. She goes, I used to think you were a big nerd, and then I tried it and went, oh, this is really hard. So I think I got a little bit of respect out of her for that, so that was nice.
Oh, so maybe she doesn't watch it because she knows it's actually hard, proper racing? Yeah, that makes sense. So it's the same as real racing. Come on, you need to watch it, love.
She only likes the drift car because she gets to go out for rides in it.
Look, I understand that. I mean, if you get front seat in a drift car, why not? You know, especially when it's your partner's, it's free.
Yeah, that's it. That's the perk. Well, you say it's free, but she has to see how much money I'm spending on the car instead of her.
Shh, it's all private, okay? Just have fun and just say yes, dear, when it matters, okay?
Yeah, that's right. You gotta play the game.
Exactly. Cool. Nonetheless, thank you for hopping in, and we'll see you next time. All right.
That's it. Have a great night, guys.
Cool. Thank you. So that was your top 3 from the 86 racing tonight. I said at the start they were going to potentially put on a show for us. I said it's all about the momentum, and that momentum, it shifted halfway through with the whole pit strategies playing its part in the whole outcome. And that was a great race to start off our night here before we go into some bigger, more powerful cars around the same circuit of some V8 supercars. So you get to see some Australian beasts hit this track shortly. And I'll see if we can quickly say a thank you to our sponsors, and they will be on your screen now, and they are Trophi.AI. Oh, actually, sorry, I should start with the big main one that we love, Disruptive Labs and Waste Options. They are the two that we hugely thank here at GSRC, as well as Trophi.AI and Flash Graphics and the merch.GSRC.inc. Did I get that right, Adam?
Yes, you did. Good work.
Barely. I feel like I barely got that one right. That was a bit loose at the end there. Sorry for making you switch over the shot.
Not a problem.
Cool. Well, I think we will virtually round it up there, everyone. So we'll move into V8 Supercars shortly. Let's see if I can get a time bracket from Adam on that one. I don't have any of that on my screen here.
We'll be back in a bit under 10 minutes.
Okay, lovely. So we will be back shortly then, everybody. Until then, go get yourself maybe a glass of coffee. I might actually go do that, make a cup of coffee. If you want a glass of scotch, you're also welcome to do that. But otherwise, chill around, and we shall be back shortly. Thank you.
Nice work.
Hello again, everybody. Good evening. Tonight, horsepower meets bravery at one of the toughest circuits in motorsport. Welcome back to Road Atlanta. We had the GR86s here earlier, but now the V8 Supercars are unleashed, roaring through the Georgia hills with over 600 horsepower, fighting for grip, fighting for position, and fighting the clock at every corner. From the lightning fast S's to the brutal braking zone, this circuit demands total commitment. One mistake can end your race, but one perfect lap can make your night. The drivers are strapped in, and the engines are fired, and we are set, and the set is staged for another chapter of Supercars racing. This is Road Atlanta. This is the V8 Supercars. And we will see what it brings to us. Again, I am Jordan Pianazzola in the commentary booth. I have Adam Lavis with me as well now, this time around, Daniel Yeaman. So, Daniel, welcome tonight. How are you doing?
Well, Jordan, it's good to be back here once again. My apologies for abruptly throwing you into the commentary box on short notice here tonight. Can I just say, whilst you were wrapping up with our podium runners there in the GR86s, I've been watching the end of qualifying here for the V8s. It was dry, as you can now see in the background, whilst Adam quickly throws up our points coming into tonight with Blake Fitz at 9 points clear, Luke Page at the top of the standings. Although a shocking round for him at Brands Hatch means that round has been cut in to his margins. Drop rounds, apparently, I'm seeing they're not being tracked just yet for the Supercars. So after tonight, and when the results get uploaded.
Yeah, once I put anything in round 7, they automatically fill in the ones and twos there.
And I'm just being told in the background, and well, as you hear, sorry, not background, Adam's right here, you can all hear him. Once we get to the end of this race and he puts the results in, they'll be out of this. So getting tight at the top of the town in the elite split on the track. Dev split a little bit more open here with Ross Armour leading the way, 613 points, plays 544 points for Jake Cowman. We've got 20 seconds to the green flag here, so we're going to have to leave this one alone now and quickly flick through. This was dry weather settings. We've gone to the wet. Tyson Broad, Alex Sick as your front row, Alex Sam Cullen, Blake Fitz your second, Luke Page, Craig Bond your third, Ross Armour there, leading Nathan Michael with the first two Dev cars on the fourth row, Andy Barber and Jeff Adams for the fifth. You've then got Ryan Barber, Greg Heaney in row 6, Dale Sharp, Jake Cowman row 7, and Isaac Curtis, no qualifying time. If he starts, will be at the back of the field. I think he is there on 8th row all by himself. Monumentally wet conditions. It's a very wet track at Road Atlanta after all the dry running here in the 86s. We get underway in the second race of the night here in the Trophi.AI Supercar Series. Tyson Broad going to lead him away into turn number 1 here as the car already wide. That I think is Sickers. He's gone off the road into turn 1, blocking in the fence. What disaster to the man who started in second place.
4th place in the championship, and that's immediately going to put any points that he wanted here tonight just in the deep end, especially in the deep end in the rain. Pun not intended. I only thought about that afterwards. But the rain with these cars is really going to be a struggle as we come down the S. As you can see, they're fighting for it. There's one further back just having a cut through the grass as it's very slippery. Oh, one into the wall. Who is that? Jake Cowman. Oh no, he is off into the wall. Put the front end into it. Is the front end okay? I think there's a little bit of damage on that car. Further around the lap here, the Project X cars, they're fighting the Whiskey Business Racing. On to the back straight, the horsepower down, so hard to get it down, especially in these conditions. Personally, when I drive these cars, I feel like they're in wet conditions, even when you're in the most perfect conditions. I always struggle in these. I can't imagine what it would be like here tonight, not even being able to put the feet down and use them, and then you can't even use your eyes. You can't see where you're going and what you're doing. They're making it work. Oh, not ahead. That was, I think, Barber cutting the corner at 10B.
Curtis there in the grass as well. Next 10B. Short chicane, but my goodness, the trepidation there whilst we're on board with Nathan Michael. Lifting out, downshifting through the normally flat-out kink that is turn 9 on the approach to that 10A 10B chicane. but the driver's trying to get a hang on it. Dale Sharp's in the grass down the start-finish stretch whilst we're looking here at Michael, who then bowls it off the road at T1 himself in the 161. He'll get it back on the road in due course. But these drivers, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we are one step away from the wettest described state that the track can be here in iRacing. The rain is still coming down at a level of 73%. 73% of the potential rainfall level. So this track is being inundated, and quite possibly, despite the fact we have 15 drivers who started this race and are still circulating despite their troubles on lap 1, I'm not certain that this track is going to dry up even with these guys all circulating. It might still actually get wetter from here. There is, I believe, an extremely wet categorization to this circuit, Jordan, that may come into effect here, which means I do not expect these drivers to be getting off their wet tyres at all, barring some kind of miracles. We will throw up the weather radar here on screen. Yellow is in the middle of the rain band, and this
is arriving.
This 73% precipitation amount.
It's absolutely covering us, and I don't think they'll be touching anything but a wet tyre tonight, because they'll be on nothing but a wet surface tonight. And it is going to be an incredibly hard one. AITX cars, they're nearly going to go into the back of each other, not quite. They'll get past Barber. He gets done by two Chevrolets there in 10A. Again, down the hill, like you said, normally a flat out corner. Not flat out here, definitely not. His 11th position is Barber, just outside the top 10. Now, who was that further? Oh, a couple of cars off. The Whiskey Business cars off. Did they take each other out?
No,
they were both off. No.
Not quite. Yeah, not quite there. Unfortunately, Nathan Michael's solo incident for a second lap in a row at turn 1, and then it's Greg Heaney with a little bit of an excursion there, just dipping his tyres in the grass that put him wide at just the same kind of moment. There's going to try and track in here on Craig Bond, running third on the track, trying to close up to Blake Fitz, but close up to somebody in these weather conditions, you're going to find yourself in all kinds of trouble when it comes to the visibility, like we saw with Michael. Tyson Borders, your pole sitter, has gone out and run away to an 8-second lead in less than 3 laps because he's got clear air in front and some degree of confidence in his car, apparently. So that combination there has just allowed him to say sayonara to the rest of the field. Look at that. Blake Fitz is fishtailing through the kink of turn 9, trying to find some grip on an alternative line you wouldn't normally use in dry conditions here. This is the other part of this kind of condition. This track, I mean, mind you, is so soaked. I don't really see they're going to be much better at trying alternate lines, but they were out in dry practicing and qualifying. There was rubber put down on this circuit before the rains had inundated the circuit between sessions. So if you can get off the dry line, there may be a little bit of extra grip available to you there, as I believe that might have been, as we're watching Fitz and Bonte, I think I saw seeing Andy Barber, his 2 wheels in the dirt on the exit at the final turn, and might be just dipping his wheels wide now at T1. Oh, make that the fence at T1 for Andy Barber. Oh dear, way off in the weeds. There we go, you get it back to the circuit and try and carry on here.
Oh, as he pulls a bunch of gravel on as well, and that's not going to make any conditions easy. He's still fighting the car, so he's definitely got some damage towards the front left of that vehicle. He's lost his headlights as well, so must have gone quite heavily into the wall on the left. Is it just the puddle that done him in the brake zone? Just straight aquaplane. Nothing could be done there. Oh, that's a hard hit on the front left.
I think I saw some dirt in the sprays. I think he might have got the outside off the track here.
Oh, he's maybe taken the dry line that
So he was off there. And then there's probably a puddle on the outside. It's a straight line.
Yeah, just the aquaplane. That's what got him. That's what can easily happen in these conditions. Wouldn't matter what car you're in, that could easily happen. But when you're putting a V8 Supercar in these conditions, boy, that makes that a lot harder. But also, speaking, I want to quickly say who's not having a hard time as we see the front end fall off the car there of Sam Cullen. What happened with Sam here, actually?
He's been having trouble here at the bottom of the S's, Jordan. This is the second time in a row. He's had a slow run through turn 5. He's up against the painted white line and the curbs, and no wonder you put your car in a position on circuit where there's even less grip than the glass smooth surface that this racetrack presents, and you're going to end up in a lot of trouble. And speaking of trouble, your race leader, Tyson Broad, has just sacrificed all of his race-leading margin in turn 1. An issue at the start of lap number 5 for him. As there you go, front right corner takes absolute beating into the concrete fencing.
Well,
he
just got the tyre wall. He was lucky to not be another metre on track. That's still done enough damage.
Just going to see this last one here for Broad. Checked out mile and ahead, but he's pushing despite the conditions, and he finds that puddle and aquaplanes his way into the gravel. Stays away from the fence here, Jordan, but then it's such a painful ride out. You get actually very close to bogged in the gravel and grass in these kinds of torrential conditions. As there's been more cars off at turn 5, Ross Armour, Ryan Barber slow. At the bottom of the hill, we're going to stay on this replay here and pick it up with Armour first. Barber in the background.
Nearly gone with him. He wanted to go on synchronisation, but decided to go get his own grade on his own skills and see what could happen. I wonder if something just happened there on the exit as well with a rejoin, but maybe not quite. But yes, Tyson Broad, what a give up of time he had. He was more than, I think, 10 seconds ahead. We're still seeing more car struggles. Barber again off the track. But Broad, I think he was more than 10 seconds ahead prior to his off track, and he dropped down to just over a second. So he's already opened it back up to 2.5. He's being able to punch in a 1:38.3 as his best lap. He's talking about the clear air in front and not having any spray being shot up on your front window. The clean air is absolutely making him so much quicker. Everyone else has pretty much been in the 140s prior to that last lap around. We see Fitz, Bond, Page and Curtis all get into the 139s. Add even Nathan Michael to that. They're starting to find their groove a little bit more, and as I'm saying that, Fitz nearly puts himself out of the groove. Is this a drift session? The amounts of water for racing. I think the people watching here tonight, if we had Adam LZ here tonight, I think he'd be winning.
You need to give it a fair shot here as Andy Barber touches the curb halfway down the S's and finds out the hard way that you need to stay away from all of your normal parts of the racetrack, like the curbs and these painted lines, if you want to have any chance getting a steady run. And then earlier to that, Greg Heaney on the right-hand side of your screens, on that normal racing line, finds the puddle out of all of that shiny, smooth asphalt, aquaplanes his way to the grass and the barriers on the outside of turn 1. And while the replays come thick and fast, it means that we've actually had Craig Bond side by side with Blake Fitz in the back straight end up in the dirt a moment as Andy Barber trying to hang on to his car, having also taken a stop for fresh tyres. Get his compulsory stop done very early in this race, but there put himself out of position and now in front of your race leader Tyson Broad. He's back up to a 4-second lead, so he's finding confidence again, as long as he doesn't overdrive the darn thing and put it back in the fence, the silly bugger.
Yeah, I've got to respectfully say with Barber, I think he'll have a lot of virtual race tape stuck on that car at this point with some of the off-tracks he's had, but this race is all about survival. Keep it on the grey stuff, keep it on that grey island, and don't touch any curbs or puddles. And I think that's what Nathan Michael's done at turn 1. Is he the third driver to get the puddle on the outside and aquaplane into the wall with the front left? We've seen 2 people do it
dry line,
and that's not going to help you. You've mentioned it before, that dry line, it'll catch you out so quick, and especially when they had the practice and the quali earlier with the drier conditions, and actually could get some rubber down. The razor line's not where you want to be. You want to be off track where it's more coarse, where you got the rubber, you got some dirt, and bits and pieces, and makes your tyres grip. And the race line not going to work. Bondi is going to try and look for a move or just apply the pressure. I think it's keep apply the pressure. You can't really make a move in these conditions. You just let the driver in front of you make a mistake and then you pounce on that. And you can see, I thought Bondi was going to try and get to the right and get underneath him.
Black ice is very much an apt description of what we're seeing. The lift and the coasting and the steering angle that Bond had to put in there down the back straight just to get the car to steer through a right-hand kink. He's to end of the turn 1 will go, and trying to pick your marks whilst up in behind the man in second place, racing position, still trying to find any semblance of grip whilst managing all of the wheel spin in the world, as you mentioned, Jordan, in these cars, violently threatening to break away from you with the wrong input here, and still threatening to try and maximise the racing circuit with curb usage, the painted lines usage. They're actually understeering, I think, off of a painted white line there halfway down the SS for Bond, but keeps together on this 8th lap of the race. We are taking them by at a decent rate of knots, but we are still a good tune of near 15 seconds off the dry weather qualifying pace. More than that, sorry, it was a 1:21 plus a broad step for his pole time. Best lap of the race so far, actually now in the hands of Isaac Curtis in P5 on a 1:37.3 to put it all to. We are 16 seconds off qualifying trim in dry conditions with this downpour. Let's watch this here. I want to see Adam, please hang on board till we get to turn 9. The kink down the backstreet. Listen to the car here of Craig Bond in the wet. A flat-out corner as he's then got the rears scrabbling for grip as he closes up the Fitz here through the 1018B chicane. Jordan, but he's going to struggle with the power down on the exit again. The clear view that Blake Fitz currently enjoys, although Andy Barber's off the road. He's in the fence, thankfully, at the final corner. Well, I say thankfully in the sense of for these two guys here, it's out of their way, but for Andy Barber going from bad to worse there for the 020, another mechanical black flag, this time in his possession for that one there, unfortunately, is Jake Cowman on the next with our replays here, also into the final zone. That's in the dry line, that's the grass, that's going to be the fence.
That's the same place where Barber went off as well, so I wonder if he's seen maybe a yellow flag and just been caught out, not knowing where the vehicle is. Or he's just done the same incident virtually. Bang, into the wall, front end gone. Oh, that is a rough one. And in the gravel trap as well with a broken front tyre. It was our second meatball of the night. These cars, yeah. Trying to get it to a safer place, maybe out of harm's way, I would say. But these cars are four-wheel drive, 600 horsepower, squirming on the rear axle, and in these conditions, I've seen people in the comments tonight saying, I don't, I can't remember what the comment was exactly, but they were saying they don't miss that they're not here tonight. Yeah, I don't envy these drivers at all either. I think I'm happy to be sitting in the booth for this one. As much as I do love supercars,
Bondy.
I wouldn't be having fun with this, but Bondy's trying to have the time of his life behind Fitz.
He's now got a bit of clear vision as he looks, been looking inside now for a couple of turns.
It's the pressure that'll get to Fitz sooner or later in my thoughts. As long as Bondy can just stay there. It's always hard to stay this close to someone, especially in these conditions, because you just can't see. You just can't see. So, Bondy was having a snap there as we moved to a replay. I hope he was able to survive that. He's still a second behind, I can see on the tower. Bondy was lucky to survive, but Cullen's not going to... Oh, he's going to be lucky to survive. Get away with a little tap. He'd probably just pull the mirror off of that one, but maybe he's just going to decide to park it instead, unfortunately. But we'll go Bondy here, and this is when we snapped away from the live feed and went into the replay, and he had a moment there, just getting caught out deep in the spray. So they'll battle a little bit further behind. Maybe not battle, but make it look like they're battling when they're going to be squirming around on the track. You just know that they're not fighting each other, but they're fighting the cars. They're battling the cars. That's what they're fighting.
First front race to the pit lane here. Craig Bond's going to get the compulsory stop done. Stuck get the pole shot done and get himself out from underneath the spray of Blake Fitz, as Isaac Curtis is also reeling in Fitz for the second place. So we might have ourselves a driver who's currently reporting as a dev driver, contending for an outright podium position here tonight in this one. Yeah, are they trying to race? Realistically, I'm not seeing a ton of what we typically call traditional racing, because it is very much about survival, and the racing is coming from that more than anything else. And yeah, you get your fair share of car control too, as these guys try and figure out where they need to be on the circuit to maximise pace. And on passing raw, it's Isaac Curtis right now who has that in spades, relative sense of the situation on the circuit. Him and Broad are the only two drivers currently under a 1 minute 40, at least on the last lap of asking around Road Atlanta here. As we're now on the 11th lap of the race and coming up to the halfway mark on time for this 40-minute event.
And yeah, you mentioned Curtis. He's up 12 positions at this point. He is faultless so far. He's doing a great job in that AITX car. I can, I'll admit that AITX cars are somewhat becoming. So in the team that I race, two teams, there's Skidmark Sim Racing and 116 Works. Within both of our teams, we always find ourselves coming across AITX cars. They're slowly becoming our rivals. We always see them in every series, but there's a lot of them and they know how to put on a show. And Isaac Curtis, he is working tonight. He's replaced the position of Bondi, being in behind Fitz.
Oh, they're both off.
Oh, he's just followed. He's just stuck in a tunnel, just following the car in front, and didn't even think about his own line for that moment and just got caught out. I also just wanted to mention Isaac Curtis. He's only participated in one round with us before in the V8 Supercars, and that was at St. Pete, where he had a 5th and a 2nd. So this guy is already proving he knows how to drive on a difficult circuit, because St. Pete, that's new to all of us. So we're not all that familiar with that circuit, but we're familiar enough to know that that is one hell of a circuit. It's tough, it's bumpy, and not too many people can really excel at it. And then you put conditions in like this at Road Atlanta, and sure, a lot of us might love Road Atlanta, but in these conditions, I don't think a lot of people will love Road Atlanta. But Isaac Curtis, again, the guy just puts in a great performance at a hard track, and now maybe not a hard track, but just hard conditions. We see Fitzy go to pit lane.
Going to respond to the compulsory stop requirements. The other thing here tonight is, now critically, because it's such a terrible race, where the wise Curtis, hang on to it. He does. Steps the rear out on approach to T1, but he's able to get slowed down in time. The point I want to make here, real quick, is obviously normally in a supercar, we're talking dry weather. We're talking you take the tyres, you fill the car up. Because of the slow pace, meaning the number of laps we're going to do tonight is way reduced. And also the fact that for most people, they're not taking tyres, but I think Blake Fitz is going to prove me wrong on that one. He's got, if I'm not mistaken, with a 9, nearly 10-second stop, depending on the data you read out from your source. That's a fresh set of wets. Now, obviously, new wets, more tread. Not the worst thing in the world in some situations, but you've now just lost all your tyre temperature. That's how Sharp nearly takes him out as they come up the hill on the merge. Thankfully, it's just Sharp having a massive loss of the car. Gathers it up also in relatively short order to get back on with his own race. And Fitzy, here we go. Cold, wet tyres. And he's lost 7.5 seconds to Craig Bond, who did not take tyres at the stop. If you thought this was bad enough as it is, the rainfall, by the way, has increased from 74 to 78%. Let's have a look at how Blake Fitz can handle a car that has now got stone cold rubber underneath him once again.
I was going to say, this was the angle we needed. And I want to hope we can just stay on this angle and just watch out the rest of this lap. Personally, I want to give from here on to at least to turn 1, just to listen on what he's doing.
every corner has a correction so far on this lap. I think finally he gets it there to the 10A chicane. Yeah, 10A of the chicane, let's call it that. He's able to get that in without too much counter steer required. But here we go, down the hill into turn 12.
Very delayed throttle. Nice and gentle. Bring the nose in. Just let it coast through. Don't fight the water at all. Let the car sort of work with it. Let the tyres move the water in front of it, and then get going up the hill. Really well done there.
So to show how much Blake's lost on the cold tyres here, so he went in the pits ahead of Isaac. Isaac has also taken tyres. His stop is 3 seconds longer, but he's coming out 3 seconds ahead, or just 2 seconds ahead. So the cold tyre warm-up is really hard in these conditions for these guys.
I honestly think they really should be doing like what Tyson Border's now done, as was Craig Bond. Just take the fuel you need in this race, fellas. It's going to be a shorter stop because you're not waiting around on tyres, and you get to go back out on tyres that will have some semblance of temperature immediately. Again, you're probably not going to gain a ton. As we watch here, Luke Page is now your race leader. Yet to stop though, mind you. And Tyson Border's got some confidence to get back within a second, and look at him hunting for some clear air to see his line into turn one as Page is bowling off the road though.
Put him in pressure immediately. Done into the wall. That's not what Page wanted. He was thinking about of pitting shortly, and now I think he's going to have to pit sooner than later. That decision been made for him. That decision was made by Tyson Broad.
Steering's still relatively straight though, so at least he should be able to get back under his own steam.
This is Barber off the circuit again. I haven't seen a replay of Ryan for a while, so I think he sorted out some issues for a good amount of time, but the amount of time maybe wasn't quite enough for him. Yeah, able to keep it out of the wall, which is good to see, as he'll be careful hopefully about the rejoin here, as he was, which is great to see.
More moment here, Blake Fitz meanwhile. He'll take the apex curb halfway down the S's and proceed to immediately bowl off the road and repeat the shortcut we saw shortly before his pit stop.
The amount of wheel spin they get over the crest of the back straight too. It's just catching them all out.
I'm quite surprised we haven't seen anything more in regards to a crash out of the exit of the S's, just where we're watching now. And there's Ross Armour off track.
Oh,
he's going to rejoin.
He's struggling to get out of there.
He's got no grip. Just goes to show how slippery these conditions are on track, let alone off track, because if you go off track it costs you so much. It's going to join back right onto the apex as cars are potentially coming. Hopefully he can get moving quickly, which he does. Able to get out there relatively safely was Ross Armour. Let's go back to Tyson Broad. He's got more than a 20-second lead, by the way, to Bondi behind. So Broad is, I was talking about faultless before of Curtis. I think I've got to change that. That's just Broad that is faultless tonight.
Well, double trouble at turn one. Ryan Barber and Nathan Michael both in the weeds, and for Nathan, gravel and wet grass. Tie him up in twice, and Ryan Barber here, he's a fraction inside of what seems to be the dangerous line to T1. But for both of them, actually, Nathan again spearing in hard. Finds the runoff there. And then the gravel traps are known for not necessarily being super effective in iRacing, it seems, to the dry, but in the wet, they genuinely function as sand traps. As Seekers, after his lap one run wide, is also out wide again at T1. We also now have an update that we have Ross Armour off somewhere around.
Another big hit into the wall. That's Ross Armour again this time, and turn 1 has claimed yet another driver. I don't even know how many that is that has been claimed by turn 1, but it is absolutely eating these supercars for breakfast. Oh, bang, into the wall again.
He's on the dry line. I think he's also braking very near a dry braking marker as well, just compounding all the possible risks into that corner there. And whilst it's got no grip to get out of, it's also not necessarily doing a ton to slow the cars down. So they're going in to the fence. They do have a faster pair on hand, but here tonight in this series. But for several of our drivers, we've now seen repeat incidents at corners like turn 1, and they're going to be possibly unlikely to have that faster pair still in hand at this point in time. Now, I did want to rip Tyson Brewer a tiny one in that since he has bowled it off at turn 1 once.
I remember. I realised that as soon as I said it. I said, "Oh, he's been faultless." Then I remembered. No,
so
he did put it into the outside at turn 1 once.
So as his team manager, I'd like to say no, he can't claim faultless for this one tonight. He just claimed that he's been fast enough to make it look relatively untouchable.
He's made it look easy. Apart from him going off once and nearly going now, he's made it look easy. Whatever his rhythm is, I was going to say he's figured it out, and we've just commentator cursed the life out of him. I do this all the time at go-kart races throughout South Australia and Victoria, and I've just done it here at Road Atlanta. Oh, sorry, Broad.
Oh, well. His toe is now going to be the entire way around the lap. Oh, and he's quit the race. Coward.
Oh.
He had 10 minutes left to get back into it.
And with that pace as well, you get one fast repair. That is quite unfortunate to see. But he could have gone back into a top 5, I want to say, just with how everything's been going and how everyone else has been very non-faultless. He could have still come on for a decent result.
With the lead he had, normally if you have a toe, it puts you like half a lap to a lap behind the field. But with the lead he had, he would have come out inside the field still, so he would have easily, he's still currently classified as 5th or 6th on the tower because no one else has come past yet. So he could have easily still got a good result.
He had a 20-second lead when that happened, and I can't believe how that ended and how we just spoke him into finishing his race early. So I want to, if he does ever watch this, I want to say sorry right now.
The other scary thing is, I just looked at the iRacing settings. So the weather forecast, it has the race at only a 67% chance of rain. So this is only a 2/3 chance of rain, and it's absolutely bucketing down.
Well, yeah, the thing is, right, we've got our chance of rain. The rainfall has still, for a moment it dipped to about 60%. It's now threatening an 80% level of rainfall. We are currently in the midst of orange bordering on red, which is up towards the extreme end of the radar scale. As it's now Craig Bond's race to lose. He has to keep it on the island. Isaac Curtis though is a hair faster. Andy Barber's gone off at turn 1 again. Blake Fitz is off at turn 1. The driver in P3 is going to broadside the fence as well. As we're going to watch Andy Barber's incident here. He's on the dry line, braking near the dry marker. No. We've seen this how many times? Backs it in actually a lot like Tyson did. Rips the rear bumper off a little cleaner though, perhaps you could say, as Fitz is in the pits with a mechanical black flag of his own. Dry line, dry marker, aquaplane. And the broadside's going to bust the suspension on front and left rear.
It's claimed yet another driver. It's eating these guys, eating these supercars like I eat chicken nuggets. Just so many of them. But we've got Bondi in the lead now from Curtis, and Page up to 3rd. I think everyone that is... we've got 6 people on the lead lap, and I don't think anyone here has not had something not happen tonight. They've all had something happen.
here's something with the Tyson Broad situation. Greg has had multiple incidents, so he's had to do an actual repair, and he's on a 3-minute 15 stop, and he's still 7th overall.
I argue that my case is solid when I used the word coward earlier on. Maybe a bit harsh at the same time.
Well, you said you're his team boss, so you
yeah.
get
So
away with saying it.
exactly. They give me enough rib when they come in post race for interviews when they do well. I'm gonna fire my shots here at them now in the middle of the race, and they know where to find me.
Now, Isaac Curtis, also just somewhat loosely keeping an eye on him.
He's picking up pace.
I was gonna mention that. I was gonna say his last lap was a 1:36.7. Mind you, that should be the fastest lap of the race, but I'm gonna guess he'd probably cut a corner because the otherwise best lap is a 37.2. So he's beaten the best lap, so-called, by half a second, but it hasn't gone official. But it gained a lot of time there compared to Bondi, who is nearly 2 seconds slower. So he keeps up some pace, and maybe Bondi has a couple of mistakes. Still a couple of, just over 6 minutes, maybe plus extra time or not. Curtis could still maybe get closer and potentially steal it, but as long as Bondi just keeps himself controlled and hits his marks, stays off the dry line, which we've been speaking about for 34 minutes at this point, hopefully he can.
Oh,
there's the fastest lap, and it's followed up by the wall. He does a 36.8, and he then puts it in the wall. He's found rhythm, and then he finds the wall. Is he going to have to find the pit lane after that, and maybe take a little bit of a repair? And we see his front end. Well, he's lost his headlights, so I wonder if that front bumper's going to fall off, or if it's just staying there.
Most likely going to fall off in due course.
I've got a feeling it's no longer attached to the front bumper, and he's basically pushing it a lot. That's my guess. Also, I've just got I love this view right here, because you can see the rear view mirror, you can see the eyes on his helmet. I bet you that expression is exactly what he's had when he was aiming at the wall.
Would be appropriate, yes. Well, Craig Bond, it's now your race to lose from the front of the field. Seemingly cannot be touched at this point in time with a 20-second lead now. Basically doing what Tyson did for the rest of the field by way of keeping it within the white lines. As right here with Curtis through that king, he's trying to put power into it. He has to lift out those, and those comes up on acceleration. He loses all his grip that he needs on the front tyres. Still not giving up though to what will probably be a second place if he doesn't have any more incidents. And yeah, doesn't need to come into the pits for mechanical black flag repairs, so he'll just soldier on with a hair of 4 minutes remaining in this race. Our current pace, and well, where Craig Bomb was about 20 seconds back, is, oh, that's a new one at turn number 7 to have a car off that wide in the hands of Ryan Barber there, but thankfully a little harder to find the wall at the particular point in track, Jordan. He just gets to go and find the grass for a while.
I thought that's what Fitz was going to do then. But is that 2 drivers that I cursed in this race? Did I also do Curtis? Because I was just saying before at the moment that if he's quick, and if things can still work for him in the last 7 minutes, he might be able to go get Bondi. And then I'm pretty sure, like 4 corners later, he put it into the wall. I think I'd done Curtis and Tyson Broad tonight, so my apologies go out to them. Hopefully I'm not going to do it to anyone else, especially Bondi as we enter the final stages here. 3 minutes to go, 37 completed. We're looking at 40. He's
laps.
22 seconds ahead. He's up 5 positions, so he qualified 6th, and he is your leader.
Penultimate lap here for him. So it'll be a 24-lap event for the drivers here. For those who've survived, at least, and of that, there will only be 9. And critically, that is going to be a total of 5 drivers of the elite division. The remaining 4 finishers will be of the dev division. And
So
we've lost Greg
just
Heaney.
pull
We
out?
lost Greg
He's-
Heaney to some
yeah.
kind of connection issue, unfortunately. So, that's a little cruel.
Yeah,
I was going to say, he's just gone, just
Yeah.
at the end of it.
When we were looking at Blake there, he was pulling over on the front straight, and I was like, "What are you doing, Greg? You're good spotty." And he's pulled the pin.
I think I've got a feeling he's realised he's in last place of who's left running, and to make sure he's not putting a fist through any screens tonight, just call it 2 minutes early before he potentially does with how torrential these conditions have been. I wouldn't be surprised if anyone's feeling that way. Mind you, I'm not saying he is feeling that way, but I could understand if he was.
Well, at least this time around, he'll be able to see a white flag from Barney, and he just has to be able to handle one more circuit of Road Atlanta in these truly torrential conditions. It's up to 81%. Yeah, we're getting into the worst rain of the night. It's like
Alex
blown
Zickers,
the
and that's
engine as
done.
well. With the
He
leader
nearly
now
made it.
passing
He
him
nearly
by,
made it to a check-in.
he'll see a white flag. Yeah, we're approaching actual red rain here if this race had gone on for another 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to see how he did it. Nah, braking late. He's on the dry line again. He joins even more drivers, himself included on repeat, unfortunately, to have just tested the limits too much here tonight. In the meantime, Bondi is out of the S's, has himself now just half a lap left to survive. Doesn't even need to worry about it. He's now in no man's land. Look at that there. The nearest cars on track are at least 2 laps down to him, and some ways away from him, with 23 seconds back to Isaac Curtis, who will be a dev driver on the podium at this stage here tonight in that 2nd place position. But just one braking zone left for Craig Bond, a couple of corners in between.
Down into the final hard deep braking zone. Gets that done. Nice. Up and over the hill. He'll shoot down and he will look forward to the win. The checkered flag waves, the headlights go, and Craig Bond is your winner here in the V8 Supercar category, sponsored by Trophi.AI. The 517 finds himself on top, and I believe that's his first win of the season. So he's made it happen in the worst conditions you could hope for, but it's the best result nonetheless. Isaac Curtis for 2nd, Page in 3rd. They're your top 3. As long as he makes it around the final corner, which he does, that is the top 3 sorted. Jeff Adams, finally, he'll make it to the line. As Bondi is in celebration mode. Can't really see a lot of smoke coming off the tyres, but he'll just be flicking up spray, and the spray may as well be smoke in this moment. There's so much of it. It's no difference. But what a result there for Craig Bond. Able to survive, keep it on the bitumen at least majority of the time. That was the key to this race. The other key was keep it off of the dry line. Turn 1 found many drivers. I think it was more than more than a dozen incidents we had there at turn number 1. Your official race results here on screen. Bond, your winner, 23 seconds ahead of Isaac Curtis. Luke Page will bring the bronze home tonight, 39 seconds back from the winner, with Jeff Adams and Dale Sharp rounding out the top 5. Fitz in 6th with Barber, Zikas, Cowman and Heaney. Heaney was your last to retire, Broad with the big incident while leading the race. That took him out. Armour, Michael, Barber, they all had a few off tracks, let's say. Sam Cullen finishing down in 15th place. You look at the elite class, and that's actually Bond for the win, Page for 2nd, and Fitz for 3rd. When you go to the dev class, the development class of V8 Supercars here with GSRC, and Isaac Curtis was your winner in that split, with Adams in 2nd and Sharp will finish in 3rd. Now, Daniel, you were the one that said you were going to let the drivers go during the interviews. So do you want to take control of the interviews here?
I think that'll work out for us well enough here tonight. We're currently joined by Jeff Adams, 4th place outright tonight, but that's also good enough for 2nd place amongst our dev split here. And well, Jeff, it was a little bit of a surprise to me, given that I had a chance to watch the dry weather that qualifying put up for you guys during the broadcast transition from the 86s. Was the rain a surprise to yourself? Or do you think, or was there enough of a warning earlier this week when the forecast went out for those conditions?
Yeah, go boys. No, I was given a heads up by Mav. By Greg Heaney. We were in the chat with him, so it was definitely, it was one of those things that I didn't do any practice with it, because I just turn up and drive straight from the 86s, so I have very, very little practice. I was using quali as practice. So it was definitely a surprise. So it was all about just survival. I knew it was going to be hard, but Jesus Christ, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, no, these things are tough in the best of times. The fact you will have been having to micromanage your throttle control beyond anything I've ever seen. The fact the rainfall numbers I've seen tonight, upwards of 80%, near 80% for most of the race. That track never had a hope in drying out. And I guess, yeah, just perhaps for those who haven't really felt it before, sort of explain like where exactly you're feeling it tonight after just what seems like a 40-minute race. Seems like it's a pretty nonchalant amount of racing. It's not the kind of like hours on hours of endurance racing that we can do in certain events.
It feels a lot longer than 40 minutes when you're out there, because it takes a lot of concentration to keep these big fellas on the track, especially in this type of weather. And as you can see on the replay, the spray was just phenomenal. It was just like lap 1, I didn't even know I was going to make it. There was a lot of people that went off, and yeah, it was definitely just survive.
Yeah, so unfortunately we saw a lot of drivers off at turn 1, taking a somewhat conventional approach to the corner, finding what appeared to be a spot where the track was completely soaked in water, and also perhaps some rubber that was left over from qualifying, making that part of the circuit even worse than usual. Just watching this replay with the onboard of you here, it looks like some parts of the track you can still use the more typical parts of the race circuit you can use in dry conditions, but other parts you couldn't. How much of a challenge was that to sort of figure out what was safe to use, where you had to alter your racing lines, and did it change for you over the course of the race, given that the rain never let up?
I as you do for most, you just adjust and you try and see where the grip is, and you use other people's mistakes as information, try to take it all in. You know, you see where they're going off, and as you see through this turn here, you really got to pre-turn the car. Even on a dry track, you got to pre-turn that car. You got to start turning that car before you even reach the corner because of the understeer. But that just hydroplaning through a lot of the track there, and even up the straight, you know, and you saw just like that those little bits out of those turns where you just got to really be careful on that throttle. But yeah, there was definitely it was I just didn't want to kill anybody, and I just didn't want to kill my own race. I managed to get through with a 0x, surprisingly. So I'll take those points with as much as I can.
I think in this kinds of conditions, it almost warrants a bonus on the bonus to be able to manage that, because we saw enough drivers dipping a tyre off the road, well, more than a tyre, dipping their entire car up and over the curbs and the grass. So that's a rather an achievement, I think, that has to be noted there. Jeff, unfortunately, given my commitments, I haven't had a chance to really track this season on a Wednesday night. So I guess as we're coming into the final 3 weeks of racing, starting, as of next Wednesday, 3 weeks to go. How do you feel about the season, I guess, real quick? Is there much in it for you at this stage? Looking at it now, you came into tonight 4th place. You're on track to pick up some solid points as a result of that, given that Greg and Jake and Ross all had struggles, and might get yourself in a position where the championship is possibly a consideration here for the class.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been on the back foot ever since round 1 because I missed the super sprint, and as you can see, there was like 150, almost 160 points on the board, I think, and that I missed. That's a full 0. And but when drop rounds come into play, it hopefully it softens the blow a little bit. But yeah, I've definitely got my work cut out for me. But just gotta keep getting these extra little bonus points. That's how it's done. You got to have these clean races. You got to qualify in the top 10. You got to get all these little extra points here and there, because you got to bank them. Because there's times when other people just aren't, and that's what gets you over the line sometimes. Indeed,
it certainly can, and yeah, tonight was an expert case. We had Tyson Broad up front, threw it in the fence, chasing pace, and decided that was going to be it done for him, and as a result, say goodbye to the result and what that would have been for him, for example. So, yeah, full credit to you for the survival and the strong result here tonight, Jeff. That's about it from me. Jordan, is there anything that you wanted to add that I haven't spoken to Jeff yet? Jeff, with you.
Well, first of all, hi Jeff, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
How mentally exhausting, is a race like that? Are you just always constantly correcting the car, or were you actually racing other drivers, or is it also just keep it on the bitumen?
It's all of them. It's all of those, all in one. I'm exhausted, but the little things you keep in the back of your mind, like you keep your hands light, don't squeeze the shit out of the wheel. Just keeping yourself, letting the car move underneath you, so not overcorrecting the car when it does decide to step out on you like that. You just you've got to follow the car and let the car just do its thing, wait for it to grip back up again, and then reset yourself and re-go. But they're a handful. I must admit, I'm pretty flogged after that. But I still had fun though. I still had fun. These, as much as iRacing with its weather sort of system, and how a wet race like this would normally be in real life be a red flag, but iRacing allows us to do a race like this, so it's definitely an interesting sort of combination.
Well, that was also a thing that kept coming up in the comments on the stream, on would this race actually be red flagged? If it was real life, they would have red flagged this by now, and red flag this, red flag that, and I could probably understand it. I think knowing these cars and these conditions, I think that probably would have been the bet as well. But also, you just track it back a little bit. You said you made it through this race with 0x. Turn 1, we seen it up here in the booth, and I'm sure you've seen it in the cockpit. The amount of cars and pieces of metal that the outside wall ate at turn 1. How were you able to manage that and not repeat what the other guys were doing?
It was hard. I nearly did it a few times. I nearly ate the wall. Actually, I had probably one major moment during the race that definitely got my heart rate up. Was lap 9 and down the S's. I got a big tank slapper, and I managed to gather it up, and I was really like, I was almost in shock that I caught it. So I thought that was my race over, but I managed to catch it. I only lost about 3 seconds on that lap, but yeah, if you ever get a chance, or I hope you caught it on the stream. It might look less it might look less outrageous on the outside, but on the inside, she was a lot of work.
Oh, that whole race, it looked like a whole lot of work. There was twice when I commentator cursed some people, so I'm glad you weren't one of them, and I'm glad you're able to survive the race, because I think you're probably one of the only that was able to do that. I can't 100% say who's made through that with the 0x, but I don't think many people did. So congratulations on that part.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, I'd love tip to Adam there if I can get extra bonus points. I'm free to take them. I'll love to take them, mate.
Adam?
Yeah, he's got his only bonus points I can see is Jeff's got a 0.
I think he might be a little preoccupied.
You can't hear me?
No, yeah, we got you, yeah.
Yeah, so Jeff's the only one with 0. Luke Page got 2, so he gets the half bonus points for the incidents. But yeah, they're the only 2 incident point bonuses for the night. Almost everyone else is double figures. But yeah, I think Greg's got 4, so he just missed out.
Well, there you go, Jeff. One of the cleanest in the hardest conditions. I think that's a pat on the back you deserve. So yeah, well done to that one, and again a great result as well for you, finishing second in the dev class. Was there anyone you wanted to thank?
Just thanks Subpar, the team, good team, gotta love it, and thanks Whiskey Business for letting me steal their tunes once again. So the side hustle I got with Whiskey Businesses, it pays off sometimes. And yeah, thanks. Well done, Curtis, for the win. Isaac Curtis, like absolutely phenomenal drive up the front there. He's even got the fastest lap there. I saw the fastest lap there, and my eyes was like boggled. I was like, how did he do that? So, well done, mate. Well done on the racing, and good luck everybody for whatever in the future.
Great stuff. Cool. Thanks for popping in for a talk as well, Jeff. Great to have you here, and good luck in the rest of the season. I hope to see you also during some other nights of the week here at GSRC.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. All right, Daniel. So, do we want to drag some of the other guys into the chat here? Bondi and Sharp.
We'll grab both of them now, and we'll speak to Craig Bond first as the race winner here tonight, as well as also the fact that he might be looking to get away a little early if he can. And Craig, whilst it wasn't necessarily on track to be your night tonight, it was also the kind of night where it could be anyone's night. You just had to keep it on the black stuff, and at the end of the day, that's what counted for you there, and not to take away from your pace or anything like that, to be clear. But yeah, you earned it in the second half of the race by staying on the track, and as a result, coming away our race winner here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, tonight was just about consistency. If you can keep it on the track, most likely you're in for a good result, and that undercut, which bought me pretty much 10 seconds in front of Blake Fitz and stuff, having some clear air out of the spray really helped that, and just help leverage me forward to go get this win.
Let's talk about that actually real quick if we can, because that first part, as you said, following Blake Fitz around for the most part, just almost probing his defences to see what you could find there on track. But of course, you get up behind somebody in torrential rain, the car's throwing up a full spray in front of you. Just perhaps help explain, obviously, people probably have a rough idea of what we're talking about, but given we're talking about attempting to do racing speeds and conditions here, describe sort of the difference it was between being up behind Blake and having in his wheel tracks, and then opting to step out and try and get some visibility of what was coming up in front of you.
Even when I tried getting out of the spray, you still could barely see anything. It was terrible. You could only barely see the brake lights when they'd brake, and that was pretty much your only reference to where they were. So it was torrential, it was very hard, and the race start alone, I'm like, how am I going to make through turn 1, because you cannot see a thing. So good job to everyone, because I don't know if anyone rear-ended each other, because I wasn't rear-ended, which I'm happy about, and good job to everyone making it through there without making huge contact and making a huge incident.
I think the only driver we had off at turn 1, lap 1, was the 449 Alex Zickas from the front row. But otherwise, apart from that, I think everyone else made it through. I think turn 1 just decided to bite everyone else later in the race.
And from memory, I think he only made a driver error as well. I don't think there was any contact there. So, good job to everyone on that. Because it was legit trying to look at a white screen, and then you'd see these 2 little red dots, and that was pretty much all you could see all race long until I came to the pits.
Was it, so talk us just through that turn 1, sort of lap 1 period, and also up the hill, and as you approach the S's. You obviously, we know it's so hard in these conditions just to get through turn 1. Also, when the whole field's around, and obviously you can't see because of the spray. But what were you having to do to make sure you weren't going to punt the bloke in front of you, to make sure you're actually going to be able to turn at the right time, get up the hill, and everything? Just talk us through that and how you actually managed all of that.
I don't know when I knew when to turn, because I was just guessing everything that lap. So I was trying to maintain like a half-second gap, so it's a bit of leeway, and then just brake early. Make sure you start the black stuff, because the last thing you would have wanted to do was go off and then drop all the way down the pack. So it was hard, just wanted to be cautious, take time, because you don't win on lap 1, and yeah.
Well, it was some good driving you ended up putting on later in the race. It was unfortunate that with what happened to Tyson Broad, but you're able to hold on and avoid the turn 1 carnage throughout the whole race, which I think was some pretty good stuff. So yeah, well done to keep it pointing forward, because I think I probably would have just quit the whole session myself after probably lap 2. So props to you there, Craig.
Yeah, thank you. It was definitely not easy. So good job to everyone who actually stayed there and finished the race off.
I think closing thoughts from me, I think I'll just really chip in here to say that talking the bigger picture of tonight and to the season it's been, actually kind of putting it in a state here, looking at your numbers this season, this is the first time you've not only been on the podium, but to also make it a win for your first podiums. Not a bad shout here, Craig. You're also looking at being now P6 on points, and it's pretty well contested in the second half of the top. In fact, everyone up to at least P3, which currently was held by Adam Hayne, you might be in a spot to be able to wrestle that away with some good results. So you think, is that kind of thing sort of changed the focus for the next 3 weeks and the way you're going to go about racing, or are we going to take it 1 week at a time and see what comes?
Oh, you obviously want to try and take 1 week at a time, but I know my first 2 weeks are already dropped rounds, and it's been like a week or 2 there which hasn't been great, so it's going to make it difficult. But if I can consistently be top 5 week in, week out for the last few weeks of this season, and now with the new backing from WKP Sim Sports, I have a lot of confidence in this car and myself to hopefully come out with a good result by the end of this championship, and hopefully a top 3.
Yeah, well, indeed, round 2, not able to be in attendance obviously doesn't guarantee that the drop round, but I can actually update you that due to the way points work, your second drop, which will give you back 75 points, has given you back 75 points. The 75 points taken away from it as a drop round, that actually came from last Wednesday night at Brands Hatch. due to the way the scoring system works. So despite the fact, yes, your results on positions-wise don't look incredible from Chicago, there's 3-race format offers up far more points in the process there. So actually not doing too bad there on that front all in all. So indeed, we'll see with Road America, then Belle Isle and Bathurst with another super sprint coming up at Belle Isle. So that's going to be a little tasty, if not potentially crazy. There has to be worried about in that case to keep your eye out on for some more big points opportunities. But I think that'll do it from me, Jordan. I think that's all you wanted to say tonight.
Pretty much. One last thing, Craig. I mean, we obviously had Brands Hatch, which was tough circuit, which we know in these big cars. We've just had Road Atlanta tonight, which majority of us love, but when it's, you know, absolutely torrential conditions and you're absolutely living on that rear axle, probably doesn't make it quite so fun. Road America next, then in the dry. Are you excited to finally go back to some dry conditions on a big circuit and not something small or wet?
I don't mind the wet, to be honest. Everyone knows I'm sometimes decent in it. My main thing is just need to get it set up in the right window tonight. I didn't have a great setup for qualia. Kind of don't know what went wrong there, and then in the race I chucked wet tyres on a dry setup and just hoped for the best. So there's definitely more potential in me in the car tonight. But yeah, we'll see what we can do heading into the final 3 weeks. But I think this is my favourite round we have, and then Bathurst will be my other one I'm looking forward to a lot.
Bathurst will definitely be a great show for us. We obviously know what Bathurst is like anyways, and then when you put supercars around the mountain, it only makes things that much better. So hopefully you can go put on another show for us in 3 weeks, but you got to go put on another show for us in the 2 weeks prior to that. So thank you for popping in for a talk tonight. Is there any last things you wanted to just mention, maybe about your race, or just thank?
I'd just like to thank WKMP SimSport for welcoming me to their team today. It's been a great debut, I guess, to be with a new team, as well as running under my own team still, so that's been great. All my sponsors, Craig One Racing, WKMP SimSport, Bond Motors Gun Guy, South Gun Guy Automotive, Gun Guy Tilt Trays, Buco, Karoo Enterprises, River and Go Kart Centre, Wagga District Kart Club. So yeah, and thank you for the great racing tonight, everyone, and you guys for doing the stream.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that up here in the booth, and look forward to seeing you next time, and hopefully being able to have another chat with you whenever that may be, especially with me not really hopping in the booth too much, but had to pop in tonight. Hopefully that can happen, you know, another time sooner than later, and we'll get to learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, well, with that one, we'll move on to Dale Sharp. Daniel, do you want to take the lead of this one? Because I got to quickly just nip off for 1 minute.
Sure can indeed. And Dale, 5th place tonight, 3rd place in the class after some of the wettest and wildest weather that many drivers have already said they've ever experienced. I've certainly probably seen as well. We've heard how nasty it was out there tonight. So I guess it's maybe saying a bit of a broken record, but yeah. How much of a shock was it to go from a dry qualifying session to the weather that we got in this race here tonight?
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise, and yeah, I would describe it exactly the same way. That is the worst conditions I've ever raced in, and I'm a little bit confused because iRacing did come out and say we've toned down the monsoon conditions at one point that would normally be red flagged, and I hadn't really seen anything as bad since until tonight, but yeah, it was definitely, you just knew straight away before the green flag went it was going to be a survival race, and you know, like even in the devs class, there's a few guys that probably got a bit of pace on me, so the wet weather probably just gave a bit of an opportunity. Not that I'm that good in the wet, but it was
definitely just a focus on keep it on the black stuff. And let's face it, I didn't keep it on the black stuff 100% of the time either. I had quite a few scares down the back straight and a few off tracks, but managed to avoid hitting anything solid at least. But yeah, you just that's some of the other guys I'm sure said you just couldn't see. So that first lap, like you're just following taillights, and if they went off track, so did you. So it was definitely it was definitely an experience, you know. So to get to the end of it and be third in class and fifth overall, like to just only have two elite guys get to the end ahead of me, it's yeah, that's a good result.
I mean, what's the word saying? Yeah, that the rain is the great equaliser. Certainly feels more apt than ever than here tonight. Now, even as I said, with a small field, we still had no visibility at the start of the race. And looking again, just to confirm, to just remind everyone watching along, 13th place outright tonight is where you started this one. And as you said there at the start of the race, if you were following someone who ended up going off track, that was a guarantee you were following them as well. Kind of got it from Bondi as well, sort of, because he was with Blake Fitz for most of the start of the race. The difference between trying to peek out and get a bit of clear air on his nose, but even then it was kind of tough to do that. The spray was still pretty rough. But we can see here, for example, you've come out of your pit stop and you got some clean air in front of you by the looks of it. How much of a difference was the visibility with like no cars in front of us, perhaps getting close, like close to a car, and then when you're like in a proper pack where you've got practically none, I guess, sort of what was the sort of the rate of degradation in your visibility out there, depending on who was around you?
Yeah, getting that sort of clear air and not having the spray on your windscreen was a massive help. But even then, I found visibility like really poor. But yeah, if you come up behind someone, like if you got within 2 seconds, second and a half, yeah, like you just couldn't see brake markers or apexes, and at that point, like Bondi said, at that point you're following tail lights and hoping that they're pointing in the right direction. And you know, a couple of times I come down the back straight and I come across slower cars that were obviously out of the moment, and I just didn't see them. It was a lot more good luck than good judgment that I didn't clean something out, and that was just because of the spray, you know. But I guess you know, when it comes to this, I don't know how accurately iRacing replicate it in real life, but a bit more respect to the guys that are racing in the wet, you know, and the visibility issue.
Yeah, no, 100%. I can't speak to any authenticity of the how much the spray affects visibility either, but yeah, I've certainly known that trying to track the rain light can be tough enough at times, and this seemed like, probably one of the worst ones to be part of it. But just having a quick look at how things have gone for you this season, as I've not been able to keep tabs on the V8s, but you came into this one 10th tonight, and you picked up 3 spots this week with that result. So you go to 7th place. You've got a bit of a margin either side of you. We're currently sitting 59 points behind Nathan Michael in P5, who tonight had an absolute bit of a disaster and unfortunately found the wall at turn 1 a couple of times. And with Ross Armour retiring from the race, Greg Heaney retiring from the race as well. Yes, those races become drop rounds for those drivers, but we're in a position, in a sense now, where that could tip things around a little bit here and tightens up the order when it comes to the championship. And with 3 weeks of racing left to come, including a big super sprint for high points potential at Belle Isle of all places, though, another street circuit to do it at. I guess, are there any aspirations here amongst your dev competitors, if we're talking championship-wise, or are we sort of taking it a little bit more of a race-by-race basis and seeing where that gets you?
At the start of the season, I was going to do it, but you know, it is like, you know, real world things sort of take you out of certain nights, and so I've missed a few rounds, and so yeah, it wasn't really sort of thinking about points, but yeah, you never know. Once the drop rounds come into it, I might have a look at it and sort of see how I can prioritise my schedule sort of around the last few weeks, sort of thing. But like I say, Belle Isle is another one, whereas, I mean, like I said, those guys sort of towards the front, they got a bit of pace on me since they had to move the line for devs, so we actually had a bit of a field at one point, and I've been left behind a little bit in that, but you know, because it's far from my my favourite car, but still, it's always a good fun car to drive. So Bellawale, you know, another Concrete Canyon. There's another race that even if I'm down a bit on pace, some things could happen and we could get a result, you know.
Yeah, Road America and Bathurst to flank Belle-Isle either side of that one there too to bring us to the close here of the Trophi.AI Supercar Series in season 2026B. So could be plenty of opportunities there, and yeah, all three of the four formats, regular, Super Sprint and Enduro, coming our way to wrap the season up. But I think I might leave it there for tonight, Dale. Anything else to sign off with? Any thanks and shout outs you want to give? Now's the time to do so.
Just thanks to Bailey Ladders for their support of Aussie races, season in, season out, and the Aussie races team, and you guys for put on the broadcast. I know we're probably down on a few numbers. We got the Porsches were on tonight, and State of Origin I think keeps a couple of numbers down, and obviously Zach, I gather he had other commitments, probably with the Pro Series. So thanks to you guys for still getting the broadcast on and getting it together on a night we're probably down on numbers and down on resources.
Yeah, much appreciated that, Dale, and good to hear that for your guys at Aussie Races too. Unfortunately for Zach, he was thinking he might give it a shot, but still trying to get a little better. Recover the voice for tomorrow night, I think, is his main objective, given the Formula V's on and how he loves to promote that one as being his real.
Yeah, he needs them at 110% for the V, that's for sure.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly there as well.
I also wanted to go race the Formula V's tomorrow, so I'd like to hop out the booth after my debut immediately.
From what I heard, you've done well. It's been good. Thanks for stepping in.
No worries. It's all right to hop in. But it's also great to see a fellow Adelaide driver end up with another good result. So, although I wasn't here for some of the conversation with you there, Dale, speaking to Daniel here, yeah, well done on your win.
No worries, cheers, mate. And yeah, I don't know if there's many of us from Adelaide down here, but yeah, thanks for stepping in tonight and allowing the broadcast to happen.
No worries, few and far between us, but yeah, oh well. When we find each other, we stick with each other. We didn't want to get involved in any State of Origin stuff, so we'll leave that to the Eastern guys.
There's a ball game on somewhere tonight that means something to someone else, but
yeah. I'd rather be playing with supercars, thanks.
Yeah, that's it. Road Atlanta in the monsoon even sounds better.
Lovely, perfect.
Well, thank you for joining us here tonight, Dale. Well done once again tonight, both within class and overall for the survival. And look forward to seeing how things go for you in the final couple of weeks of the season in the next 3 to come up.
No worries. Cheers, Daniel.
And by the looks of it, that will be our last driver to come and speak with us here tonight, Jordan. So we can confirm the updated championship standings are unchanged at the very top of the order in the Trophi.AI Elite Division of the Supercar Series. Blake Fitz now sitting on 553 points. Still comes away with third place in class despite finishing down a lap off the leader here tonight. Such were the attrition and the spread of the classes. Currently 30 points clear of Luke Page, who chips away by 10 points on that one there tonight, because for both drivers that's not a drop round for either of them in this situation. Adam Hayne goes 2 rounds back-to-back of no attendance to trim out his points there, so he'll be dropping points if he misses any other races there this season. Jace Douglas, his first no-show of the season, will net him a safe drop round for now as well. Interestingly, fascinating, look at that there. With drop rounds kicking in and Adam Hayne having 2 no-shows in a row for this season, Jordan, he actually gains positions as the drop rounds mix the order up here.
I mean, that's one way to try and gain some points. Just don't participate in some races and then just get going from there. But one person I did also want to just look at here was Broad. It's a little bit further down on the standings. He's actually in 22nd. He had a win. He actually had a double win last weekend at Brands Hatch, and could have backed it up with another win here tonight. So it was quite disappointing not to see him end up completing the race there. But I think at least looking then maybe forward to next season. I know we've still got 3 rounds still to go, but looking forward maybe towards next season, if Broad does, show his head up on nights, I think he could be definitely in shout for a title run or something decently high up there.
He's got the speed, he's got the setup know-how and team support there as well. You're not wrong about that. It's just a matter of it all lining up to be applicable. And also saw there towards the bottom of the standings, Isaac Curtis with that result tonight has been elevated to the elite split, so that will see him out fighting with the fellas in this big class after that run there tonight. But with that all said and done, and with our drivers having come and spoken to us and all the points there, I think that's just about going to do us for tonight. We do have, of course, to say a big thanks to Trophi.AI for continuing to support the Supercar series here on a Wednesday night for the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, and making this action, the broadcast as well, all happen as well. The support also, of course, coming from Disruptive Labs as the club sponsor in season 2026B. Once again, you can support the club directly through the merch store at merch.GSRC.inc, and also support some of the teams that have partnered up with the merch store as well. To John Simpson over at Flash Graphics, a big shout out to him for decal work and paint designs for things such as the Mountain Men series, and assisting the club with his graphic design skills. Richo, once again, there at Disruptive Labs and the crew there for supporting the club across the board, as well as in the series such as the GT4s in seasons past. It's the Formula V's this season. Pardon me for having a bit of a mental blank on which ones they're supporting at this particular... Yes, it is the Formula V's and the Gentlemen's Endurance Champion were the ones I was looking for. And Waste Options, our continuing supporter of Monday Night Racing with the Wings and Slicks and the GT3 series at this stage. Of course, we do have at least one more night of racing broadcast live, which will be tomorrow night here on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Looking to have Zach Caven back on the microphone, all being well for him, as well as with Matt Schmicke in the box for, pardon me, both races. Yes, he will be. So join them for Disruptive Labs Formula V on their Super Sprint racing at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit to kick off the action from 7:25 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, with the green flag being taken at 7:30, pardon me. And then, whilst it's meant to be the bigger category, Zach always says it's the main course followed by the dessert, in a sense, when it comes to GSRC Porsche Cup, which will head to Circuit Park Zandvoort. Sprint racing there will see us split the broadcast between the open split at 8:40 p.m. for race 1, and then off to the Elite Cup or race number 2 for the second half of the show. There, Road Atlanta being back on the cards come Friday night for the Gentlemen's Endurance Championship with support from Disruptive Labs. We'll see our drivers in both the Hypercar and GTE categories take to a 1 hour and 45-minute race, so roughly 300-ish kilometre distance that can be covered by those Hypercars in that top class there on a Friday night. Green flag at 8:30 p.m. Broadcast is always been a thing we like to say maybe will happen, but hasn't been able to unfortunately be a consistent thing we can guarantee for that category. And then last but not least, for this week at least, of course, the Mountain Men for their car off the wheel spin, which may happen tomorrow night, but if it doesn't happen during the broadcast on Thursday, it will definitely be done by Adam on Friday and posted to the Discord there for all club members to see what car they'll be taking around the Mount Panorama circuit for 32 laps starting 8 p.m. AEST on Saturday nights. And that concludes this week's racing. Do we have next week's first couple of races up on? Do we do indeed? If all continues as it has been so far, I'll jump back in the hot seat for Monday night Waste Options Motorsport with thanks to them for both wins and slicks Formula 3, followed by the GT3 series. We take to a pair of street circuits here, home in Adelaide for the F3 cars to start things off there, and then to the St. Petersburg street circuit once again, although this time with the GT3 cars. Pro-Am up first in their sprint race, and then we'll split the attention to go to the Pro cars in the second split there. And then looking to committee's choice, continuing on in the this 8th week of the season, it will be the SRX stock car heading to Eldora Speedway on the dirt there, folks. So some heat races and feature stuff. Jump in the server anytime from 7 p.m. AEST for that one. And last but not least, to make the full circle of 7 days, we'll come back here to merch.GSRC.com GR86 Challenge at Road America to kick things off next week, and then also continue on with Road America for the Supercars thanks to Trophi.AI. But we'll split the format, sprint racing for the 86s and 40 minutes once again for the V8s to round out your next 7 days of motorsport here at the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. So with a final thanks to Trophi.AI for tonight's support of the Supercars and Disruptive Labs supporting the club for season 2026B. Huge thanks to you, Jordan, for jumping in the comms box, especially given that it all came together on short notice to help Adam Lavis get this show underway. And folks, I hope you enjoyed that. And make sure to give Jordan a big shout out, whether it's here in the Discord or in the broadcast chat, because he did indeed do a fine job out there tonight. So if you're ever looking for a spot in the box, Jordan, I'm sure that seat is open for you anytime. But on behalf of yourself, well, actually, before I do, any final words you want to say before we close out here tonight?
Nah, thanks for throwing me in the deep end and basically putting me on to do 86s basically by myself to begin with. But nah, look, no, it was fun. I like doing commentary. I come from a go-kart background of doing the commentary, doing it for, I don't know, a little over 16 months, maybe 18 months now, so not too long. But yeah, hopefully just getting a little bit more out there, and, you know, hopefully you guys will see me a little bit more, maybe more on track or more in the booth. Either way, I don't mind, but hopefully you see more of me. If some of you are interested in maybe following on with me, and because I do want to try and turn this into a career, I do have a Facebook page, Jordan Pianazzola Commentary. But otherwise, some of yous I know, because we're all around Australia here, I do have a gig in Mildura in 2 weeks, the King's birthday long weekend. So if any of yous are there, do say hello to me, because I will be commentating day and night for that event up in the northwest of Victoria. So until then, I think that's about it from me, maybe in the booth here. But it's been great. So thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Adam. And yeah, I'll see you guys all another time. And thanks, everyone, for watching.
Sounds good. Much appreciated, Jordan. And yeah, my name has been Daniel Yeaman. Thank you all joining us here on a Wednesday night motorsport with thanks to the GSRC and Trophi.AI. Whether it's tomorrow night with Zach and Matt, or whether you're back next week with myself and Zach, or Zach and Adam, if everything goes to schedule. We hope we'll have you back on a broadcast sometime soon. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your weekend when that comes around in a couple of days. And until the next time, keep safe and be well. And we'll look forward to having more racing on the platforms of Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club for you very soon. Bye for now.